are listening to GORCAST, you idiot.
So stupid. Song. I know. It's a stupid intro. Tim.
YouTube won't let me do a fucking intro song, dude. I wanted to do Jim Reeves' Welcome to My World. I had it edited down the whole nine. You've got this thing. You probably made that, right?
I had a friend make it for me.
Oh, dude. What I want to do for friends. That's great.
Come on. You got me. I'll help you make a fucking intro. I can make music.
I like that. That Jim Reeves is perfect.
Tim Warner.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Welcome to my world. Won't you come on in? Welcome to my world. And done in that old country fucking 1962 type of shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking perfect. And then YouTube's like, you can't.
No.
You can't monetize ads.
No.
And I was like, well, I guess I got to get rid of the song. But it really takes away.
Yeah.
It's like you watch Married with Children.
Yeah.
Like on DVD.
I've seen that, yeah.
They don't have the Frank Sinatra Love and Marriage. They have some other just
because they couldn't get the rights?
Right. And it just... It doesn't ruin the show, but it does take an element out of it.
That's bullshit.
That's good for you, man. This is a nice setup.
Thanks, dude. You'll be here soon. You'll be doing the same shit. Got to believe in yourself. Haven't you learned anything over the last few years?
Yeah,
you need to believe in yourself, dude.
I do.
You need to believe in yourself.
I do. I just been fucking...
You're fucking killing it right now. Give yourself some credit.
Yeah.
You're doing good, man.
I'm glad you brought that up.
You're doing good. So I want to...
I'm glad you brought that up because I'll tell you, people see shit in you before you see it in yourself. And I hear all these people saying you're fucking killing it, you're fucking crushing it, and it's like I'm still sleeping in a Walmart parking lot. You know, I got to take out money from a credit card in order to pay a bill.
Yeah.
And I'm killing it. It's just funny. Other people see it in you before you see it in yourself.
Well, not only that, but killing it is kind of like relative, right, to like where you were before. Right? Or like, you know what I mean? Like you could be it. Maybe you're not killing it on the scale that you'd like to be killing it. Right. But compared to when I first met you, you were killing it, which if I can remind you and just kind of give some backstory to, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on here was because I met you when I wasn't even living here. It was in 2021 and we were just visiting and we thought we'd get tickets to Kill Tony. And we went to our first Kill Tony that we ever saw live at Antone's with Donnell Rawlings.
Yep.
And so that was the first time we saw you go up there. And I guess by Kill Tony standard, it maybe wasn't your best performance on Kill Tony, but it was like for us.
I just followed Danielle fucking going on a 15-minute.
Oh, was it right after he walked out?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Right after he walked out.
So awkward.
And we're outside, so I didn't have a fucking clue like what happened.
Right.
And then I just come in, and it's like you could feel the energy was
dead.
off in the room. Yeah. And it's like, all right, so the pandemic's weird. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and dude, that was funny because like you were speaking to us because we were watching your set like, yeah, we fucking fuck with this guy because you were like talking about fucking the Clintons and you were saying some shit about vaccines and like just kind of talking shit and
the
like
healthcare industry.
Yeah, you were talking shit about the government and all that kind of like fucking corruption bullshit, and we were just like, yeah, we like this guy. Fucking, we're on Team Tim, and so we I think you gave us a business card, and we ended up going to another show at Vulcan the next night, and you had told us that you were doing an open mic across the street at one of those bars, and so we went and fucking hung out with you at the open mic. I don't know if you remember this. You were probably fucked up, but it was like upstairs somewhere.
Oh, Blind Pig, maybe.
Yeah.
Blind Pig or Shakespeare's one.
But yeah, you were doing a mic over there, and we went over there and like just hung out. I think we smoked a joint or something with you. But so since then, you're like completely sober.
Yep.
Apparently it's National Sober Day.
No, it isn't.
It is.
Is it really?
And you know what's even crazier?
My app did not tell me this.
What the hell, app? What's even funnier is right before you came in here, I had another guy doing a podcast with me who I've had on the show before that is a full-time sobriety coach. So this truly is the sobriety day for the podcast. Yeah. He just I told him to follow you.
Okay, I think
you should check him out.
Wow, it is today.
Stop drinking, coach.
No shit, dude. You didn't even plan that, did you?
I didn't.
Look how the fucking universe comes together.
It's so weird.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's crazy. Today's sober day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had 2 sober podcast guests talking about sobriety.
No shit. No shit.
We can talk about Hillary if you want to talk about Hillary. No. We don't have to talk about sobriety. We can talk about the vaccine if you want.
No, I know my story more.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with any of that shit either.
Yeah, I stopped. Once I got clean, I stopped kind of paying attention to the news. It's all fucking propaganda and fucking sales pitches anyway.
100%.
You know, it's just advertising slogans to make sure you feel free.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
as they take away your rights more and more every day. But who gives a shit? Trump's not in office, right? Yeah, that's going to make it better.
Right.
It's fucking ridiculous.
They're all crooked, man.
Yep.
But so can you kind of let people know that don't know you, that listen to the podcast?
Sure.
Like, how did we get here to where we are today from wherever you came from? How did we? And then let's start over. You know what I mean? You don't have to go like all the way back to your childhood unless you want to.
Nah.
But just like you moved here. Tell people when you moved here and how that whole thing looked.
Didn't even move here. It's more like I landed here.
Okay.
You know, I left New York City during the pandemic. And, you know, it's interesting. You were saying like, you know, about the killing it thing, you know, compared to when you met me. But I would say like New York, I was actually doing things. Like before the pandemic, dude, I was a finalist in Montreal's New Faces, unwrapped. You know,
I don't know. You have to tell me what that is.
Montreal's biggest comedy festival in
Okay.
probably the world, definitely North America. And New Faces Unwrapped is basically a bunch of new faces that don't have any management, don't have any agents. And then all these greedy whores get into a room and they put on a show with a bunch of comics who, you know, the new faces who don't have any representation.
Right.
And then it's all for the pickets. And I was a finalist. I got the email 3 weeks before the fucking the shutdown, and then they canceled Montreal that year. I don't know. New York.
What part of New York were you in? I was just there.
At that time, I was living in Sunnyside, Queens.
Queens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right across, basically right across the river from Manhattan. And geez, if I can remember, third stop on the 7 train, 40th Street, 39th Street, something like that, 40th place. Yeah, and I just, I don't know, I went outside during the pandemic and had a lot of fun, did a lot of drugs. You could take the bus anywhere for free because you couldn't go in the front because you might give the driver COVID. So you could just get in the back for free and fucking go anywhere. So I took a lot of...
Wait, in the back of the bus? Oh, the back,
There's
like
two,
double...
Yeah,
okay,
There's 2 entrances. Well, there's usually supposed to be an exit and then the entrance.
I was thinking like the emergency exit from when you were a kid at the school, on the school bus. And
No,
you're
not
hopping
that,
on.
no.
You're hopping on through that thing.
No, they
okay.
have
yeah.
where people are supposed to get off. So they only had the one, and you could go anywhere. So at the time, I just government checks would buy. There was a person in Brooklyn that basically had a fucking store before it was legal, and some of the best weed, some of the best. She had some connect to California, and it was great. And so I got really high and went all over New York, dude. Everywhere during the pandemic. There was fucking no one out.
Free
it was
bus
amazing.
ride.
It was
Nice.
like a museum of New York.
Yeah, I would have liked to do that with my camera and like take pictures of buildings, and that's what I like to do for fun. It would have been so sick when there was nobody out
It was
there.
the best. And then the real virus came out, which was other people, and then that's when I was like, I don't know. And then we went back in, and then I just said I was sick of it. You know, it's like you try to do a show in a park, and cops come and break it up, even though everyone's got masks and people are 6 feet away and all of that.
They're like still not good enough.
No. But at the same time,
Portland was kind of the same way.
Buildings burning and the whole nine, and let them go. But
Right.
don't speak against the narrative or do any jokes about what's going on, and we'll come and get you. And I got sick of it, so I ended up getting a car. Basically, through my audience, someone was willing to co-sign because they believed in this idea.
This was like, where did that guy come from? Just from Instagram?
It was a girl, yeah.
Oh, girl from Instagram or from
Facebook. I knew her husband from high school, and she was a Patreon member as well. So she hit me up. We had a long discussion about it, and then she was willing to. She was willing to sign it, and I got a car.
Awesome. People are so awesome.
Yeah, I got a car, and my audience is amazing, dude.
Yeah.
I'm fucking.
Seems like it.
I am blessed with the people that are into whatever the fuck it is I do.
It's kind of cool because it's like, even if you feel like some days, which, I mean, we all feel this way, artist types, you know, like giving up, you kind of like, when you have an audience like that's dedicated to
Every
you,
hour.
it's kind of like you can't, yeah, exactly.
Every hour.
But you can't can't give up on those people. Even if you want to give up on yourself, you can't give up on, you know, those people that fucking care about you.
Whys are the biggest thing in the universe.
What's
and
that?
If you know your whys, you can do anything. So if you have strong enough whys, you'll wake up in the morning and do the shit you have to do. You know, and the people that support whatever it is I do, like it's my biggest why. You know, but yeah, I took government checks and I went around the country.
Okay.
And I was originally, the plan was to land in Denver because I was a big pothead at the time.
Right.
And I was kind of sick of...
you wanted that legal weed.
Well, no, I was sick of man-made skylines.
Yeah.
I wanted a little bit more nature in my
coming
years.
from New York especially.
Yeah.
So, are you from New York?
Syracuse originally.
Okay.
I moved to New York after 9/11 because
Okay.
the rent was cheap as shit. Yeah. So I took advantage of it. Then, I just went around the country, all over, except for like the middle of it, but basically everywhere else. And then, I don't know, I saw what was happening here in Austin. And
with the comedy.
Yeah. And I thought the potential was amazing and very attractive.
For sure.
I really felt like this place could have been the Seattle of comedy, you know, the grunge of comedy. Yeah, without a doubt, at that time. And so I just felt like sticking around, you know, and I've been here since
right when I met you, I think.
March of 2021.
So we literally met you. That was my first time visiting here, really. And we just kind of came to get away from the Portland COVID nonsense so we could come and just party and have a good time and see how life was down here after the mask mandate was lifted. And that was when we met you at that, you know, Kill Tony. So it was like right around the time you landed here, we were visiting, and that's when we bumped into you, I think. Was just
I was at Florida before for some time. I spent basically, I don't know, a little bit after Christmas to Super Bowl weekend in Tampa. So I
just driving around the country, huh?
Yeah.
In that car.
And then doing stand-up wherever I could. You know, so I did like Huntsville, Alabama, Lexington, Kentucky. You know, did a lot in Tampa and the surrounding area, Daytona. I drove a lot around Florida. Went up through Houston, Dallas, Phoenix. I did some stuff in San Diego, Boise.
Damn.
Yeah.
Covered a lot of ground in that fucking... Yeah. What kind of car was it?
At the time, that one was Jetta, Volkswagen Jetta.
You covered a lot of ground in that fucking Jetta, man.
It was fucking great. It was great.
So, I guess, when did you realize that you... Because you've taken, for people that don't, you know, follow you or follow Kill Tony or any of that stuff, know what's going on with you, like, you... had some issues with, was it drugs and alcohol, or was it just drugs? Were like your...
Well, honestly, dude, to answer that question honestly, the problem was me. You know, I got really bad after my dad died. And it's not the fact that he died, it's just how things transpired. And I came back here pretty empty. How do I say this? My old man wasn't proud of what I decided to do with my life, but never really paid attention to anything I did. So he didn't really know. But
it wasn't his thing to be proud of or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't
right,
really.
Right. And you know, his last words were pretty rough, pretty hard to swallow. And, so I came back here and really lost, really empty.
So you were living here. So this happened recently. You were living here, and then you went back home
January of 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went back to go visit him one more time, and then you came back here just
I saw him in a coma.
Oh, okay.
And they let me into the hospital. It was like during COVID time.
Right.
So they actually let me into the hospital. And, it was crazy, dude. Like, while, so I had my last speech in a sense. And so it's about a 26 hour drive from here to Syracuse, New York.
Just thinking about what you're going to fucking say.
Thinking about what I'm going to do. Everything. And I went in. Nurse did her thing. She showed me some stuff on the screen. Like there were, a machine was breathing for him. So there was like these triangles that showed his actual breath. And, so she showed me all of that. And then they left the room. And then I started talking. And I don't know. I can't tell you the time frame. It could have been 5 minutes. It could have been
an hour.
No, not that long. But within about, 5 minutes or so, he started fucking twitching and shaking and moving. And whatever. Shit. And like he moved so much that he popped this tube out.
Oh, damn.
And then I got the nurses. They came in. They put in the fucking tube. They put the mitts on your arm like they do because they don't want you fucking freaking out.
Oh, right.
Out. So they tied down his arms and he sat there the whole time.
That's a hard way to see fucking anyone that you have ever cared about.
But it was him starting to come back.
From the coma.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like the shit I was saying.
Yeah. Were you dropping some real shit on him? Like shit that you never said, but like, I'm going to fucking say it?
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing really harsh because at the end of the day, it's like, look, at the end of the day, you did the best you could. You just didn't know what the fuck you were doing. And looking back on it now, dude, my old man was a complete alcoholic, and all the characteristics of it, the selfishness, the self-centeredness, it was all about him a lot of the times. I mean, monetarily, it's like, okay, he got me braces, things of that nature, but, that was always stuff that was hung over your head regardless, but we were always at it, He didn't want me to go to Woodstock, so I fucking left anyway, and I hitchhiked to Woodstock, which was
Woodstock 99?
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
That's sick.
Such a great time.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah, such a great time.
I'm writing it down.
Such a great time. I would not change anything about those 4 days that I spent there. But we always butted heads on everything. And, I came in, just laid it out, and he started fucking twitching. I think within 24 hours he got out of the coma, which was like pretty much, usually that does happen and then they pass. And that's what happened.
My dad dealt with that with one of his girlfriend that he was with. She came back and she was everything was like fine, and then they were like, hey, just so you know, this is like, make these moments count, because it's usually, they come back and they look normal and great, and then that's after that day.
He passed shortly after he came out of it, And
so
that was without getting too personal into shit. That was a fascinating 5 days that I was in Syracuse.
Yeah.
And then
no shit.
Yeah, I came back. They had the funeral in April because up there the ground's too cold, so they can't fucking dig a grave.
In January or whatever.
Yeah. So I didn't go to the funeral. In April.
Sounds like you said what you had to say, though.
Yeah.
That had to feel good.
He said what he wanted to say.
That's good.
Oh, it's interesting.
Hopefully there was some
someday
closure.
I'll make it a thing, probably.
Yeah.
Some kind of story or something. Yeah. And then after that, I was like, I don't know. I guess maybe it's like, if Batman lost Joker, what would he do? If Superman lost Lex Luthor, like, what would he do with himself?
What does he have to live for anymore, kind of thing? You lost your arch nemesis.
In a sense, yeah. Yeah, like the biggest person that if anything happened within this, I could kind of go, hey, fuck you, told you so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep believing.
Interesting.
And so I just came back just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. And then I went on this thing, Kill Tony. And I did a bunch of jokes about my dad's death and death in itself. And then, I don't know, I guess it didn't go over that well.
That
or
was
at least I thought it did.
The most recent one?
No.
Okay.
No.
So this was before the sobriety, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the interview was even worse. And I was so in my head that it just brought the whole party down. Like, I still see this lady's face in the front row.
Just like,
When someone, it was either Red Band or Tony said something about, like, dude, you're fucking bringing everybody down. And this lady's just looking at me going, yeah, you are. And I was like, oh, Jesus.
I'm trying to be vulnerable with
Sorry.
you fucking animals.
Yeah, like, sorry, you know?
Yeah. You asked.
Yeah. And, out of pity, Red Band asked me to be on Secret Show. And I did that, and I bombed horribly because I was, again, too much into my head.
I think I was there.
And then after that,
I think I was at that Secret Show.
oof. Yeah, I went up dead last, and it was fucking awful. All these people just staring at you, just like trying to avoid eye contact with you. Oh, God. Yeah. And then I think the next day, I might have lasted a day, but then the next day. I was going to say,
you could have just went to an open mic for that, right?
Yeah. Then the next day, I just started doing whatever I could. I
like drug wise.
I started with. It was totally premeditated too. You know.
You're like,
I knew I
was
gonna. I went out and bought a pack of cigarettes, which I don't normally smoke. I'll vape, but I don't smoke. I went out and got a pack of cigarettes, and then I went to this bar. That is a bar that was on Bar Rescue, and it's neither the bar that was rescued or what it turned into.
Mm-hmm.
But I just knew that was the location, and I went in there, and you could kind of sit outside, and I didn't even get cheap shit. It was bottles and Jack. So it was like bottle, Labatt, and Jack.
Yeah, and, just the hard shit.
Yep.
Oof.
Yep, and I didn't even care about price, nothing. I had a credit card that I knew had plenty of room.
And you weren't going to pay it off?
Boom. I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah.
I'll pay the minimum.
Yeah.
What, $35, whatever? Yeah, fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah, hurt my credit score. I don't care.
I don't give a shit. Yeah. And then
it's a slippery slope, man.
Yep. And then it was just as if I never stopped doing anything. Never stopped. So because I've had pauses with drinking, but I've never quit doing drugs.
So before this thing with your dad and then the Bad Kill Tony episode and everything, were you kind of in a good place as far as like the sobriety goes? Like, were you in one of those? I wasn't
drinking, but I did. I would smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah,
smoke a lot of weed.
Which some people would call that sober or not drink. California sober.
I guess standing here now, California,
right, or whatever they call
that
it.
State sucks.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I wouldn't call it any kind of sober.
But you were doing.
There's still a reliance. There's still a mentality of needing. There's still you don't do anything within yourself. You just do this thing. Oh, I want to celebrate. You do this thing. Oh, I feel bad. I want to do this thing. I feel sad. I want to do this thing. You don't really fucking go through anything. You don't really fix stuff.
Yeah, you're not doing the work.
Yeah, you just put it in this private storage in your soul, and then you fucking throw away the key.
My dad calls it a drawer. You stick it in a drawer, and you don't look at it, and the drawer becomes a mess.
Yeah,
full of shit.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
You got to clean that drawer out every once in a while.
Yeah. And when you don't, it just fucking starts bulging out. And, you know, and how can I ignore that? Let's do something. Because it's not even, that's why you asked me, like, you know, was it drugs and alcohol? No, it was me. Because it's like, it's how I use stuff.
Right.
It's not
or
what
why.
I used, or it was how I would use them. And I was an abuser.
Yeah.
You know, first thing in the morning, I mean, I always had half a pint of whiskey on me. During that 7th month bender there, I'd wake up, 6, 7 in the morning, start doing Uber, and I'd be like Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas, where I'd be sipping on a fucking half pint that I had. I would make sure I left over stuff from the night before because I knew the liquor store wouldn't open till 10.
The preparation.
Yeah.
The premeditation.
It's all of it. Yeah. And then it was just, I'd be loaded by 10.
Yeah.
I'd stop at this coffee shop I frequent where they start selling at 7 in the morning. And you get happy hour prices. So it'd be like shot and a beer. I'd be loaded by like 9, 10 in the morning almost every day. And then it was just all throughout the day.
A coffee shop selling liquor that early?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Buzzmill.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a coffee shop and a bar.
Yeah.
But they don't sell for 5 hours. From
Perfect place
from 2 to 5.
For an addict.
Yeah. And then there was a liquor store across the street that would open at 10.
Yeah.
I would go to the
I
liquor
used to live
store,
over there.
started getting half pints, and then I started getting pints, you know, and then you start going through like 2 or 3 of those. You know, my self-esteem and shit was so shot. I'd go to open mics with I'd buy an extra half pint. I would get 2 to 3 tall boys, and I would show up at open mics 2 hours before and drink all of that just so I could walk in and talk to other people and go on stage, because I felt like I couldn't go on stage and be funny if I wasn't fucked up. So since I got up every single day,
that starts to add up.
I got fucked up.
Right.
Yeah.
So
weed in between. I'd use my charisma. Sometimes I'd go to bars, use my charisma to get coke, because even though in that mentality, I thought that if I got coke, that would be that's dirty, that's wrong, that's a problem.
Right. That's a no-no drug.
Right. To buy
alcohol and weed. Oh, to buy it.
To buy it.
Okay.
To me, I was like, that's a scumbag.
So you're rationalizing.
Right. That's a scumbag. But if I go into a bar
and a buddy
and I sit at the bar and I wait for a guy to come out of the bathroom with the sniffles and then buddy up with them, and then eventually they're like, oh, you're a great guy, you're funny as shit, dude, here, take this, go in the bathroom, here's the key, you know?
Right.
I didn't find that scummy. Even though that's
more scummy.
Oh, without a doubt.
Right.
But in my head, I wasn't going to a place and buying it.
Wow.
So like the monetary transaction I felt was awful, but the spiritual transaction, the personality transaction, I felt like was completely fine. Yeah. And I would do that. There's plenty of bars you could just walk in and just wait for someone.
Oh yeah.
Come out with the
and then you just like a hawk, you're like, I'm gonna buddy up with that guy.
Yep.
I'm gonna fucking say nice shoes.
Yep.
Whatever.
Need a drink?
Yeah, I need a drink. Yeah.
You from here?
Boom.
No kidding, man. I'm from New York, son.
You're almost like in a weird way, you're like a predator, but you're preying on yourself.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of fucked up?
Yeah.
Like
it is.
Like you're like the same way that like some rapist guy or something at a bar would be like, that girl looks too drunk, I'm gonna, or whatever. Like you were kind of looking at these dudes like, I can get fucked up from this guy, I can get some coke from this guy, you know what I mean? And you're really preying on yourself.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's some deep shit, bro.
Yeah. And I did that for 7 months straight, every single day.
So what was where does the hero story kind of start then? Because this is the dark part of your origin story right now. So where does because right now you are on a objectively positive path, right? I mean, as far as this, dude,
even talking about this shit now, it's crazy that I was that person.
Yeah.
And I've been clean now. It'll be the 24th of this month will be 11 months.
Let's go, dude.
Let's go. It is insane.
11 months.
Like I'm having a bunch of flashbacks now to there was a time, dude, I fucking fucked up my car, and I honestly can't even tell you really how I fucked it up. Like I popped 2 of the tires, and then I kept driving on it, which ended up fucking up the rim and the rotor.
Everything,
yeah, dude. And like I have an idea where it happened, and I feel like I didn't hit a curb or anything. I wasn't in that lane, but I cannot fucking tell you at all what happened. I'm having a flashback of that morning, waking up that next day and just fucking calling a comic I knew that had a southern accent real thick, so I thought he knew a lot about cars. And I was like, you help me out with this? I was parked next to a church. I ended up going in the church and fucking praying, but I still kept. That didn't stop me.
But it was probably like, that was probably a last ditch kind of like, not, if I'm guessing, right? Was that like oh, I've been fucking up, so I need to go pray thing? Or and it didn't come from a place
Well, he said it.
Oh, shit.
He said it.
Okay.
And
he's like, hey, man,
and he was sitting there going, the universe put you next to a church for a reason. I'd go in there and I would say some prayers, and I was completely against this.
Yeah, you were like, God damn it, he got me at my own universe shit.
And he's like, until I get there. So he's like, I would suggest doing that. And I was like, all right. And I went in, I did make some prayers, but it didn't matter.
Well, you didn't mean it.
No.
You didn't mean it at the time.
I still had liquor on me, so I was sucking that in before I went into the church. You know?
So it wasn't genuine.
Still had weed, yeah. And it didn't even necessarily faze me. It was just like, oh, fuck, I don't know what to do here.
Was there a nuclear moment, though, in all of this where you why did you wake up and decide to get sober 11 months ago? Like what, you know what I mean? Because at some point, something had to have clicked with you where you're like, I can't live like this anymore. Like
I don't have a thing.
There wasn't a moment.
Like I don't have, yeah, it wasn't,
interesting.
I lost, I mean, I was already living in a car.
Right.
You know what I mean? I haven't had a relationship in fucking years. Not even like side pieces or anything, like nothing. Especially in Austin, there's been absolutely nothing.
Women and sex and stuff you're trying to talk to, you're saying? Yeah.
Nothing. So it wasn't like I lost anything. I basically didn't have much to begin with. There was just a day, I remember I woke up, I got a shot and a beer. I had the shot. I took 2 sips of the beer, and I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. And I decided, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go right. And then it was a Monday. I'm going to go right, and then I'm going to sign up for Kill Tony. And if I get picked, I will redeem myself from the last time.
You did.
And no, they didn't have a Kill Tony that night. They were in London. So I was sitting there, and Shakespeare's had a mic at 10 o'clock. So I said, I'm going to wait. But the only place, like, it was either I go to the Blind Pig, and I remember it was like Patriots, Bears, or Monday Night Football. I could give a fuck about football. I give a fuck about any one of those teams. And then all of a sudden, my phone said there was a tornado warning. And I was like, well, I don't want to be somewhere away from my car. I don't know how long. Because you could see, even in the night sky, you could see the
eye of the
dark
storm.
of the clouds were darker than the night sky.
Yeah, sketchy.
And I was like, okay, I got to go towards my car, but I got to go somewhere. And for whatever reasons, you know, and in the program and in life, people call it a God shot. But I just said I didn't want to go to the bar, so why don't you go to a meeting? And I looked on my phone, and the closest meeting was at 8:30, and I went to that, and then they also had 10 o'clock afterwards. So I knew I could stay for 2 meetings. And I went to a meeting, and it was small because of the tornado warning. And they called on me because everyone else spoke, and I was just sitting there. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I'm just sitting there, like, hating myself. Like, why am I here?
Kind of being frumpy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And mostly just hating myself regardless if I was using or not. And they called on me and, you know, would you like to share? And I was like, well, I mean, everyone else has, I guess.
Well, they called on the wrong guy because you like to share. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They called off. They didn't want somebody to share it. They called on the wrong dude because you got some shit to say.
And there were tears.
I bet.
You know, and I just talked about mostly how I just hated the fact I had to be here. I hated the fact that I can't do this myself. I hated the fact that I wasted my life. I hated the fact that, like, I've got nothing. I live in a fucking car. I'm a loser. I said I would never be like my dad, and I become my fucking dad. And all of this, just like I'm a piece of shit. I'm never going to do anything in fucking comedy. I don't even know why I left New York. All this seems like a mess, and I can't fucking figure it out, the whole nine, and just not bawling, but definitely like there was a good stream coming down.
Those angry tears.
Yeah, just furious, like hitting the table, yelling, like, and not even just like New York talking, like fucking yelling.
Yeah.
And, you know, and afterwards, people were nice. They came up to me. Some girl cooked me lasagna at the place, which was really nice, and that was really comforting. She came up to me too, and first thing she said was, if I ever hear you talk about yourself like that again, I will fucking kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Dude, do you understand me?
That's good.
And
That's how I feel when I hear you talk like that. Because I don't like hearing that stuff. I'm not even, we're not close. We don't know each other that well, but I know enough about you to know that none of that shit is true. I mean, even the stuff that is true, that, living in the car and what you may or may not have at this moment, like that doesn't create, that doesn't dictate the type of person that you are. You're not a piece of shit, and you're not a worthless person, and you're not doing nothing with comedy. You're doing it. You know what I mean?
But
that's how you
when
felt.
when you're in it, like those are the mindsets though.
Yeah.
Like again, when you are so selfish and self-seeking, self-centered, the self-pity, the victim game that you play as an addict, because again, you never fucking deal with anything. You sit there, it's like you try to hit up a dealer and they're like, well, I got to go do this thing. I'll be back in 2 hours. And you sit there and go, well, why the fuck can't they be there for me?
Right.
And it's like, well, they have a life.
Yeah.
And you get in that mentality. So
there's other addicts that need to be serviced.
Yeah. So that mentality is just so like, why is this happening to me? The world's after me,
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Interesting.
So at that time, it's like, all I'm going to dwell on is what I don't have. I don't even consider what I do have.
Or what you could have.
Just even what I do have.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like, I could sit here now and go through a fucking list. I'm almost in the same situation. But it's like, dude,
Let's hear it.
I've got 2 lungs that work. I've got a heart that fucking ticks, dude. I don't even have to think about it. I got a brain that completely works. No stroke, no nothing, right?
You got
I
a
have
good
all
brain.
my extremities. I'm able to walk and run. I have a voice.
You're creative.
I could talk. I'm creative,
Yeah.
I'm there for other people.
You got a car?
I've got a car. Yeah.
You got a
There's
house.
so many.
You got a house car.
There's so many things,
Yeah.
but
It's a shift in mindset.
yes. But when you're in it, it's just all about fucking get me my fix. And they call it a fix because you're trying to fix something that never gets fixed. But you're sitting there, give me my fucking fix. Let me forget about this. I used to have a mind, I'd say to myself, like, the reason why I had to get fucked up all the time is because my head would sit there and go, you're a loser. You're a fucking nobody. What are you doing in your life? You fucking wasted it. And then you sit there and you get some drinks in you, and all of a sudden your mind's like, hey, buddy, sorry about all that back there. You're a good guy. I think you're fucking great. Like, you give me 3-4 drinks in, and then the mind would just be like, sorry about all that. You good, dude. I like you, man. You're all right. Let's drink some more.
It's so crazy to hear you say all this stuff. Tony is probably thinking the same thing I'm thinking, because we literally just had a guy in here before. Like I told you, I didn't plan this at all. I was like, oh yeah, Tim's a sober guy and this guy's a sober guy. They end up getting scheduled on the same day, and he's like this. You got to follow this guy, dude. Follow him back. I told him to follow you while he followed you while we were standing here after the podcast, and he's fucking amazing, dude, and he's like the psychological, like he goes through on the podcast like the psychological shit behind addiction and drinking and what makes people, and he literally said, like, in a more academic delivery, all the shit that you're saying, and you're kind of giving us like a real-time example of like what it's like for somebody to go through that.
Yeah.
And so that's fucking incredible.
Because it's so easy to do. It's so easy. It's so easy to turn right and walk into a liquor store,
right,
and get a cheap bottle of fucking Evan Williams and just suck it down until your mind goes, you're fine.
Yeah.
When it quiets down, and just, even though you're not, your mind will go, you're fine.
You're just trying to keep
We'll deal with it tomorrow.
Just trying to keep the noise
You all
down.
good.
Yeah.
You all good. Drink some more. Let's get some weed. Dude, that guy's got coke. Let's get some coke. Let's have a pointless conversation. They'll find you funny. That's when I'll do well, comedically, is when I'm talking with that guy who's got the coke. You know what I mean? Like, you're fine, dude.
That's when you've
put
got
the
Riz
talent.
on.
You've got this stuff, We'll show it on stage later when we get up later tonight.
Yeah.
And then of course I'd get up, I'd be a complete mess.
Yeah.
And then well, fuck everyone here, dude. They just don't get me.
Yeah, they don't get the comedy. Yeah.
And then you're putting that energy out there, and then you're wondering, like, why don't these people book me? You know what I've done in this game? Yada yada.
You know how long I've been doing this?
Yeah. It's insane. It's insane. It's so easy to do that. Then, like, how many times How many times have I heard people in the rooms? I even hear people outside the rooms like, dude, I couldn't quit. I couldn't deal with that. And it's like, what, dealing with life? Dealing with the emotions that you go through? Like, I'm so grateful that I can feel emotions now. You know, even when I am depressed, when I am sad, when I am frustrated, I never felt that before.
Because you were numb.
Yeah, never felt that before. Now, I have some gratitude for it. Do I want to be frustrated? No, of course not. But when I am, at least I deal with it. Yeah. I try to find solutions. Like, I feel like a lot of times when people get fucked up, especially when in this addictive mindset, there are some people that can go out and it's not an issue. But the ones where it's a fucking issue, it's like you go out and you dwell on your problems. How many times do you go out to a bar? Do you go to a fucking drug den and you just, how's your day today? And it's nothing but complaints. You know, whether my wife this, my girlfriend this, my job this person this sucks, the people who drive here shitty, this blows, the fucking governor, politicians, all of this, the news, it sucks. So you sit there and you dwell on the problems. And what I found in recovery, being clean, is that you focus on the solutions. And it's like, well, what can I do about this instead of just bitching about it every single fucking day with the same goddamn people at the same places?
And I know exactly. I mean, I don't speak from experience, but I know what you're saying because I know those types of people. Yeah. That like it almost feels good to them. Yeah. To woe is me, or like, you know, to you know. To basically just be like, you know, my life is so hard, and you know, I'm going through all this shit, right? The woe is me stuff, like it almost feels good and it's easy. Yeah. Right? For some people. Yeah.
But then there's also another person on the other side who's like, I fucking hear you, buddy. My girlfriend's the same way. My job's the same way. I think, let me buy you a drink. Right. And then they'll match you. Or it's like you're at a den play. Here, let me cut a line. Let me fucking roll a joint. Hey, I'll roll a blunt, dude. I hear you, man. That's rough. Sorry you're going through that. Oh, I hear you. Really appreciate this. Yeah, life does suck. Whatever. All right, I'll see you next time.
And nobody learned anything, and nobody grew. No. We just got a little high, and we toned those negative voices down a little bit, and he'll be back in a second telling me I'm a piece of shit. Yeah. Right? In my own head. Yeah. Yep.
But there's that common thing where it's like, oh, I'm not the only one who fucking hates everything. So now I know I'm not alone. And in addiction, it's fucking lonely.
Yeah, which is such a shame that has to be, and maybe tends to be sometimes, like a negative interaction, because those people, it seems like, are always just kind of looking for somebody to understand them. We were just talking to that other guy about how, like, when somebody in your life is like so fucked up that it's like, oh, they're in the hospital again. Is this going to be the time? Right. And like, you don't even feel bad anymore or feel sad for them anymore. That sucks, because it's almost like that person's now playing the addiction lifestyle on hard mode because they don't have any compassion left from their family or friends anymore. Yep. Now they turn the difficulty up like a video game to very hard, because now it's going to be even harder for what addict people seem to need is like more you need to like kill it with kindness kind of thing, like the addiction thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
they just need the attention.
Yeah, but they want the attention for sure.
It's just like you go on, like I think one of the worst media platforms is Facebook, because people go on there and they'll bitch and complain or talk about how their life sucks, but then people will leave the comments. They go, hey, it's all right. I'm praying for you. Right. You know, and it gives them that attention.
Nothing gets done.
And that attention sparks dopamine in the head. Oh, so you could sit there and get your life together, and people are so caught up in their own lives that they can't necessarily be there for you, being your fucking crutches while you're trying to get your shit back together. But if you're a fucking mess, people will tend to come out until they don't anymore. Right. But the attention that you receive, you know, that's why it's like you can go to a bar and start knowing there's the regulars, you know, and maybe not so much on 6th Street, but I bet you there's some neighborhood places all over, here where it's the same guys who get out of work, you know, and they'll sit down and have the same conversations every single day, but they'll laugh about hating life. Right. You know?
Which is toxic. It doesn't heal anything.
Yeah. And that's why, again, it goes back to I'm the problem.
Yeah.
There were things I wasn't happy with me that, again, never worked on. All just kept putting in a fucking private storage. And what I've done in recovery is actually go back to finding out, well, why is it you have to obsess over getting fucked up? Why can't you just have one? Why is it you have to have so many that you have to get obliterated? Why? And then you start figuring it out. You know, a lot of times it's shit that comes from childhood and so forth, and then it's just repeating those same fucking patterns all throughout life because you never did anything to solve the first thing.
Are you willing to share any of the stuff with us that you've kind of found out?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have no pressure, but
I don't.
And real quick before you do that,
Yeah.
Tony, is he still in the middle of the frame on this camera? Because I know he's kind of creeping over there. I just want to know.
Y'all just like scoot, so you go
Sorry.
further out.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good, man. We're in the thick of it, dude.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. If you need to get up and adjust shit, go for it. But sorry, I didn't want to derail you, but I want to make sure.
I'm willing.
I want to make
It's
sure
all-
we're getting
it's
your
all good.
because you're dropping some serious.
It's
like,
all good.
Serious information on us right now.
And it's also, I'm not that person anymore, which is just.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You seem so happy about that, genuinely.
Yeah. It's just, again, just like flashbacks, because it really wasn't that long ago, even though it feels like an eternity.
Yeah.
But the only reason is because my days are more fulfilling.
Yeah.
And it's in the language, full and filling. My days are full. My days are filling, where they weren't before. They're very empty.
Yeah.
Now, man, I find so much in just the littlest things.
Like joy.
Just the splendor of the beauty of just being here, and
waking up.
not taking it for granted. Because that's another thing, dude, being fucked up, sitting there going, I give a shit if today's the day. Because I'm not grateful for anything. I'm not grateful for the fact that I can breathe. I could meet the love of my life today. Like, I'm one yes away from everything I've ever wanted to be in my existence. But when I was
awesome.
using, all I concentrated on was all the no's.
And then the fix. You
Yeah.
had the one goal.
But all the no's.
Yeah.
Which led me to...
Like not getting booked, not whatever.
But I'm one yes away from everything.
Yeah.
One email, one viewer, one person in an audience, one booker, one show. Just one yes away, and all my dreams can come true.
See,
it's tremendous what this life has to offer.
Yes.
It's nothing but opportunity.
Yeah.
It's like baseball, dude. Baseball, the sport of it's fucking amazing. It's the perfect analogy for life because it's about creating opportunities and what you do with those opportunities. You want to get a runner in scoring position, and then when you do, how do you get that runner home? Do you bunt? Do you sacrifice? Do you get a hit? Is there a home run? What's the pitch count? All of that. It's a perfect analogy for life. The odds are against you, 1 against 9. There's like 7 different ways to get on first base. You don't have to get a hit. And some of the best hitters, dude, they only hit 3 out of 10 times. Like, that's life.
yeah.
You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have a 1,000 batting average, dude. You could have 280 batting average and still make the Hall of Fame. It's amazing. It's amazing.
That is a good metaphor for life.
It's the perfect. I could go on. There's so many things.
I don't know a lot about
How many
baseball,
things
but I'm
come in
trying
three,
to
the top
absorb
and
it.
Bottom, there's so much. It's the sport of it. I don't care too much for fucking
Watching it. And
yeah.
shit.
Or I don't care much about sports. I don't care much about what humans are really into, or we're being told that humans are really into. Like, I've dropped off on sports big time. I used to be a big NBA head. I don't even know what the fuck's going on. Could care less.
Who cares?
Yeah.
If it brings you joy, then it brings you joy. But if not, then why obsess over
just
it?
more into moments.
Yeah.
And I just know there's a clock ticking.
It's interesting to me, though, just to kind of put you under a microscope for a second.
Yeah.
Is that, like, when you walked in here, your energy was different.
Yeah.
It was not what you just said to me.
Yeah.
Right? When you like before we started rolling, you were like, I don't
know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to stick around. And that still may be, but so it seems like to me that negative, correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm asking, are you kind of battling like a little bit of a negative demon in yourself, kind of like the negativity starts to kind of creep up, and then you have to go, no,
Yes.
every day is fucking beautiful.
Yes.
We're out here. So it's like there's kind of like I'm noticing like a little bit of a back and forth as far as that
I would say
positive outlook goes.
I would say this last month mentally has been a challenge because it's like, okay, I'm clean, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm at a point now. First of all, I never graduate. I never get a diploma. It's never like, all right, I'm good.
Right.
It's never going to be that.
No.
But
constant.
I know using anything it's not a solution. It's not, I have to figure out something else to do. So I know for a fact that I don't want to use.
Yeah.
And in a sense, kind of like lately I've been battling the fact that sobriety isn't enough. Like I wake up every day,
tip
I
of the
don't
iceberg.
use. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now it's more. And not in a greedy sense, but it's like I think about like comedically I'm not growing here. And there's a lot I want to do and say. And the only way I can figure out how to say what I want to do and how I want it, and what I want to say and how I want to say it is I need an audience. And these three, like it's my new fix, my new drug in a sense now is performing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going through withdrawals in a
So why are
sense
you
when
not,
it comes to
why are
performing.
you not? There's so many places to get stage time and like open mics and
3
stuff.
minutes.
It's not enough.
Dude, I've
Yeah.
got concepts, ideas, themes, things. I don't want to go up and talk about cum like fucking everybody else here.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I want to break some shit down.
Yeah.
And it's also difficult when, doing, right now I make income between YouTube and Uber Eats. And when I'm out doing Uber, I can't get to a place on time. And I'm not in the mentality of fucking bumping motherfuckers so I can get early on a list.
Right.
So
There's too many people here for that.
Sitting through people that the mentality here I somewhat don't understand, and I find it frustrating. This LA fucking mentality of there's a lot of people here that want to make it instead of want to be great. There's people I watch that do less than mediocre and come off stage and hang out as if they scored 25 points in the fucking game.
Right.
And it's like, what are you talking about, dude? You just went 0 for 10
Yeah.
with like 5 turnovers. And you're sitting here hanging out like it. Dude, in New York, there would be people that would go up, and if it wasn't good, they're fucking gone. They're writing. They're working. They're doing something.
Right.
They're trying to figure it out. There's no celebrations. There's no hanging out. You're sitting there like high-fiving the other team, and it's like, dude, this is a 7-game series. You're down 2 games right now.
Yeah.
You don't have a win. What the fuck you doing just hanging out?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get on Kill Tony, and then
got
I'll
some
start getting
laughs or
booked
whatever.
more. And it's like, you're going to get up on Kill Tony with less than mediocrity.
Yeah.
And it ain't gonna make it look good.
You're like, take it from me. They're gonna shred you.
Given the opportunity. I mean, how many times I got to see people come in with fucking little books and they're content with that.
Right.
Dude, I did the last time I was on with Ian Finance. I came out. I got on Secret Show. I came out. I didn't have a gel blaster. And there were people like, oh, you don't have a gel blaster. You didn't do that well. I'm like, what the fuck you talking about, dude? I got on Secret Show. Who gives a fuck about a toy?
Yeah.
Like, what are you
I get
talking
what you're
about?
saying. There's like a false sense of reward going on.
What are you talking about, dude? I'm standing on the shoulders of fucking giants, dude. Lenny Bruce, Carlin, Pryor, Hicks. Do you understand? Fucking Carlin's 3rd album, Occupation Fool, went to the Supreme Court. Imagine creating a Netflix special, I guess nowadays, or if you got a YouTube special.
Sure.
You're trying to create something that shows off everything that you are, shows your greatest comedic art, and maybe raises the standards of what stand-up can or could be. Maybe. That's your hopes and dreams. And then all of a sudden, the United States government says that what you just created is unconstitutional. And we have to bring it to the Supreme Court.
That's like the biggest W for a comedian, right?
It's amazing. and then these people go, Lenny Bruce had to sit through 3 trials of obscenity where police officers would come and watch his act and jot down notes while getting a little lucid themselves, and then come into court with whatever the fuck they wrote down, trying to recreate his fucking act. He can't even do his act for the court. They're doing it as evidence of why it's obscene, and they're doing it wrong.
They're not even doing that. They're not even doing his
and
act
then
justice.
He's not getting jobs. He's not getting work. And then these kids nowadays, they go up, talk about your girlfriend's vagina with no fucking respect to the people that came before you. Oh, well, Lenny Bruce wasn't all that. George Carlin, I don't get it. Yeah, you know what else, too? You like Tupac and Biggie, right? Yeah. Well, without fucking Rapper's Delight, you don't have that shit. But you listen to Rapper's Delight now, hip, hop, hibbity, hibbity, don't stop bopping. You go, well, it's kind of fucking cheesy. Well, compared to Biggie and Tupac and Nas, yeah. It is. But how did you get that? You had to start with hibbity, hibbity, hibbity. Lenny Bruce had such intelligent fucking dick jokes. To come, to is a verb, come is a preposition. To come. These 2 words I heard my whole adult life. Did you come good? Did you come good? Did you come good? Doing it on the drum set. And then fucking people nowadays go up with some of the most baseline 2-year-old fucking dick and sex jokes. Grow the fuck up, man. There's some issues in this goddamn world, dude, that we need to bring to light. And comedy is the beautiful honey to the fucking disgustingness that actually does happen in this world. Like, we're literally... It used to be generations that were losing rights. It's now almost every single fucking day.
Yeah. There's plenty.
Every day.
There's no shortage of material.
None.
To talk about.
None. If you're punching up.
Yeah, if you're punching up, yeah.
You could go after the corporations. You can go after these politicians. You can go after these fucking celebrities. But instead, oh, you know, my girlfriend went on the heavens. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. And sitting through that is fucking brutal, dude. And when you're sitting here going, hi, New York, there were other dudes. Like, there was a crew I would hang out with that was looking for more than just jokes. Because comedy is such an amazing art. You know, it's like music. You can make music or you can fucking make the wall.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'd rather make the wall. Let me put together a double album with a fucking concept. Let's make a movie off of it. Let's fucking, the whole theme of it is about Syd Barrett. Let's fucking do that shit.
Yeah.
That, to me, watching Neil Brennan blocks, to me, that's fucking trailblazing.
Yeah.
I'll take that over Chappelle any day of the fucking week.
Yeah. So... I guess
I got real passion.
No, dude. I love your. I love your passion, dude. That's one of the reasons.
Comedy saved my life.
Yeah.
When I was a kid growing up, my parents were hardly around, and I don't know. Compared to other people, I didn't have a rough upbringing, but I had a rough upbringing, and I grew up a spoiled time when comedy was on so many channels because it was like reality TV nowadays where it's just cheap to make. You could have one night and you can have, 2 nights in a comedy club with a bunch of comics going up. That's 12 weeks of fucking shows, Mm-hmm. And so you're paying for 2 nights in a club. You rent that out, right? Tickets, whatever else. And then you've got 12 weeks, advertisers coming in paying. So there was A&E, Comedy Central started, MTV, VH1, NBC, Fox had Comic Strip Live, for Christ's sake.
Everybody wanted a slice.
Everyone was doing it because it was cheap to make. So comedy was everywhere. And I'm not even talking, that's just stand-up. What about sketches?
Right.
With like SNL,
Sitcoms.
Kids in the Hall, fucking The State. I mean, it was just everywhere.
Mad TV.
And it fucking saved my fucking life.
because you had basically something to laugh at or have a good time when you were
living
a rough
fix.
childhood. Yeah.
If we could bring it back a little bit.
Yeah, that was your fix.
That was my escape.
As a kid?
Without a doubt. I'd go to my grandfather's because he got HBO because of Mike Tyson fights. And I'd go over there and I'd watch a Carlin special or the comic reliefs, which were like 3-4 hours of just comedy. And they do a fundraiser at like Madison Square Garden or some shit to give money to the homeless. That was hosted by Robin Williams, Billy Crystal, and Whoopi Goldberg. And you could see everybody that was fucking anybody in comedy at that time. You know, Joan Rivers, Richard Lewis, Richard Jenny, fucking, you know, even Dana Carvey doing Chopping Broccoli, like Bobcat Goldthwait, fucking, there's so many, Paula Poundstone. I mean, there's
I don't know a lot of these.
And that's a fucking big issue, dude. Because it's like, I look at it as like, if you're a musician, if you're an NBA player, like you're coming up, you only know LeBron. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
There's Kobe. There was Allen Iverson. There was Michael Jordan, Dr. J, even fucking Cousy, even all the Celtics teams. There's things that you could learn. There's so many players that have all these little fucking elements where you can go, oh, I could take that crossover, how they did that layup. You ever see how they play defense? You know, watch the footwork of Kevin McHale. That's how Tim Duncan. So it's like in stand-up, man, it's like I want to know. I mean, the founding fathers alone, Lenny Bruce, Mort Saul, Dick Gregory, fucking Nichols and May, Shelley Bourbon, Bob Newhart, Jonathan Winters. These were the first people that actually didn't have people write them one-liners. They started doing material based off of their own lives, and they did their own writing, and that's basically the founding fathers of fucking comedy right there that has paved the way for modern-day comedy. Without them, you don't have Carlin. You don't have Joan Rivers. You don't have Red Fox. You don't have Freddie Prinze. You don't have Richard Pryor. You know? You don't have even fucking Yakov Smirnoff. You know? You don't have the Paula Poundstones, the Joan Rivers, the fucking Roseannes, all the people that you fucking idolize, whether it's a Shane Gillis or whatever the cunt. You don't have any of them without the fucking people that came before. And the sad thing is most of these people are doing fucking jokes that Lenny Bruce did in 1953, even though they think that Lenny Bruce was only relevant in 1953. Yeah. Saw a dude the other day doing a whole thing about cocksucker, and it's like, he did that already. Done.
Yeah. So they don't have the frame of reference even.
No. Yeah. And it's like you need, again, standing on the shoulders of giants.
Here's my question, not to derail you too much. And
well, we didn't even get into my whys.
Well, no, anyway. we'll get there. I have some other stuff that I want you to get into as well. But there's, I guess my question is, you have all this passion and all these strong beliefs about, you know, the history of comedy and the people that came before you and standing on the shoulders of giants, which is a great place to be mentally for a comic, I feel like, from what little I know. You know, I'm just a new open micer. I just started doing a little bit of comedy myself. And so, you know, I would be in the category of people that you probably hate, you know, to hear do comedy because I don't I'm still learning and, you know, trying to figure out how to write stuff. And so I guess my question is kind of like, why does it bother you so much? Why do you take it like so personally, I guess, or maybe you don't, but I guess my question is like, why can't you see that and be like, fuck what they're doing. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna honor the Godfathers and do fucking Tim. You know what I mean? Like why? Like maybe maybe it's affecting you too much. I'm just curious.
In New York, when you gotta sit and watch hours of it, it's troublesome. When it's like lately, I've gone on shows and I've done really well. I didn't do that good at Poke the Bear, but I didn't know that's what I was getting into. But I've done really well. And then it's like the calendar's empty. And it just makes you go, well, what the fuck? Do I got to talk about my dick? It's like in New York.
I see. Okay.
In New York, for example, I'd be booked on shows and they had hosts there. They fucking pass a baton and that bullshit here, lazy ass fucking work on a show. But the hosts would bring me up as like, this guy, he does this. Right. You are going to enjoy this. It's different than that. and it's different than over there. But this is what he does, and it seemed to be embraced. Like New York came down to your hustle, and if you made audiences laugh. So it's like if you go to a Christmas party and you're standing against the wall, didn't matter. No one sat there and was like, "Oh, dude, that dude's weird." Nah, it's just Tim. He's funny as shit. Go talk to him.
Yeah.
He'll talk to you. But he doesn't like these fucking functions. Here, it's about networking.
Yeah.
You know,
I get that.
and it's like,
annoying.
it's, you know, someone gets something, dude. You just see a bunch of people getting ready to jump on fucking coattails.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why?
Interesting.
Because you're lazy. You don't want to do the work yourself.
Have you thought about starting your own, like
I said, I don't
weekly
even know if
show?
I'm going to fucking stay here.
But I mean, I feel
And
like
who would I book? There'd be like 5 people I would book, and that's it.
I mean, maybe as a challenge, you could do like a long,
Why?
I don't know, because okay. Here's a challenge to your why, is because you care so much about it, and if put your money where your mouth is.
But if I'm going
you
to put
care,
up people who don't give a fuck, then what's the point? It goes against the brand.
The whole point would be to teach people to give a fuck.
I don't.
But I guess that if you don't want to do that, that's
like,
fine. But
that's like fucking telling someone who's got a drinking problem they got a drinking problem. They got to figure it out themselves. They have to
True.
crash on their own face and then go, "Hey, I need help." You can't go, "Hey, you need help."
But
it's not going to work.
But it is a little different, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because it's an art form. And
Look,
so if you could teach people to do it better or more
all the
genuinely,
information is there, right? Before the internet, I would go to the Museum of Radio and Television in New York City, and I would look up clips that you can get just by Googling at your fingertips in less than a second. And I would get all these fucking tapes, and they would queue up all these tapes, and I would watch. I would sit there and watch Lenny Bruce on fucking Jack Parr. I would watch Richard Pryor's early fucking sets, take out some Cosby, Robert Klein, and just watch these. I had to go there in order to do it. Now all the information, you have Wikipedia, you have YouTube, you have Google, you have all of this, and people don't take advantage of it.
But these young people don't even know that some of this old shit exists, and it's not their fault.
It is. It's a search away, dude.
Yeah,
you Google stand-up comedy, there will be a plethora of things that come up. The history of stand-up comedy, boom. There's books. There's there's videos.
How many
there's
people,
documentaries.
How many people, though, being realistic, how many people get into an art form and go, "I'm going to do a history lesson about this whole..."
I guess less than I think.
Almost no one. Come on.
I think that's insane.
I mean, how many people...
Anything that you're doing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, though.
Music.
Music. You look up...
You're not going to listen to the Beatles?
Right. I mean,
you're not going to
right.
listen to Elvis? You're not going to listen to fucking Conway Twitty?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Like, you're not going to do that?
That's a good point.
Oak Ridge Boy, you want to hear, hey, dude, even if it's fucking new wave, Depeche Mode, if it's like, there's all of these genres. Maybe you could fucking, I like a little bit of that. I like a little bit of that and that and that. And I could put that together and kind of maybe create this, not a new sound, but it's definitely something with a little funk, with a little hip hop, with a little rock, with a little country, with a little blues, with a little jazz. I mean, why wouldn't it? It's all there.
I just feel like if you could channel your animosity toward, or your irritation and frustration toward this stuff that people don't know or don't actively go and, search out, then maybe you could, with your passion for it, you could maybe, shift the minds of some, even if it's one person that you're like, hey, already, like, maybe if the whole, I'm not trying to sell you an idea here. Just hear me out. But like, let's say you had a weekly show, and the whole premise of the mic, if it was a mic or whatever, but whatever,
it would be a show,
a show with longer sets,
no gimmicks.
Yeah, the whole premise would be like, it's already been done, right? So like you give me your material. I have a good database in my head as the host of this show. I have a good database of what's already been done, and I'll fucking tell you if your joke's already been done. I mean, that's an idea right there, and that helps people. Now you're taking this thing that pisses you the fuck off and makes you fucking go insane and want to leave the city, but you're taking it. It
frustrates me.
Right, it frustrates you,
but it's like, take what you're saying. Take something like COVID, right? Now, I could have people, hey, why don't you research Who funded that fucking lab in China? It was our taxpayer
won't
money.
do it.
Why don't you look into Fauci? So you take something like that completely affected our lives.
Right.
Completely affected.
They don't wanna see
We're now in a whole new wave. People won't even do that.
They don't want to
And that
know.
extremely affected everything.
Yeah.
Our teenagers now, their mentalities and shit are all kind of fucked up from this, let alone other people in general, adults. They're all whacked out from this. You want to know the source? You want to figure out some things? Well, no, I don't. All I want to do is just have my fucking opinion, put it on the internet, and how many likes or whatever, and start a fucking argument.
Right.
People don't want.
They
don't want to do the work. How many podcasts do I see where people don't edit? How many it's insane. And then they wonder, well, I don't have an audience. Well, you don't do any fucking work.
Yeah.
How is it some fucking dude with a bad haircut and a fucking addiction issues who has not done things right, has made almost every fucking mistake that you can make, still be gaining an audience from a fucking car in a Walmart parking lot? How come I write more than motherfuckers? Why?
Because you're passionate
It's
and creative.
Here.
It's in the heart.
I can't do anything to fix your heart.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't teach people how to be passionate.
But in theory, there's a lot of these people that you see maybe doing these things that frustrate
This
you.
makes for a good podcast.
It does, man. This is great podcasting.
Just me yelling.
It is. That's why I knew you would come on here and fucking let me have it, bro. I'm just here to listen, you know? And so, but what I'm saying, the last thing I'll say about that, I guess, is that I just can't help but think that within those group of people who might go up and do a joke that Lenny Bruce did that irritates you when you hear this stuff, and they aren't trying, they aren't putting in the work, like that might be what you're seeing, right?
Yeah.
But then I bet you that if I bet you that some of those people want to do better and learn more. And there is a lot of comics. You got to give some people some credit that there is people, right? But they don't know what to look up, or they think that they're learning by watching, I don't know, Kill Tony or something.
Trial and error.
Yeah.
You look it up.
It's not your responsibility to help anybody. I'm just saying that if you're so passionate about it and you think there's so many things that are wrong, then maybe.
Right. Let me equate it, since we were talking about like recovery and so forth.
And addicts
right?
complaining
Okay.
about shit. And
You go through, there's steps to take, right? There's the 12 steps. And the first 3 to me are basically decisions. My life, I'm powerless. My life's unmanageable. Check. There's going to be a power outside of myself that's greater than me, that's going to restore me to sanity. Okay, because my way doesn't work. Check. Decision. All right, I'm going to turn my life and will over to a God of my understanding. All right, fine. Again, my will doesn't work. I'll turn it over. Now, I need you to write your resentments. And I need you to write how those resentments affect you emotionally, financially, spiritually, all of this. Then I need you to write, what's your role? And then all of a sudden, you start fucking coming out of this pain. Like you start, like, it's basically like Ghostbusters.
right.
Where all the ghosts, they let all the ghosts back out after they captured them all. Well, that's what you're doing. Your
You're
private storage
opening
now
that drawer.
is being opened, right? So I had shit where it was like, basically my mom abandoned me when I was a kid, right? And I had a resentment towards her. Well, what was my role in it? And I had to sit there and fucking write like, oh, well, I could have reached out. I could have communicated. I could have done that. There's so many things that I could have done. Then all of a sudden you start to see it's not her I have the resentment for. It's myself I have the resentment, but it's easier to put it on her than it is to put it on myself. So what I've noticed in the program is there are a lot of people that want to get sober and they love the idea of it and they think they need to. They think they have a problem. But when they have to start doing work, they bail.
Right.
And there's a lot of people usually will do relapses when they get to a step 4 because they don't want to fucking deal with the shit.
They don't want to look in the mirror.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And I think it's the same way as we're talking about now with comedy. People don't want to do that extra work. When I was in New York, I remember people would write tweets. They would Google and make sure no one else said their fucking tweets before they tweeted. Like, that's the mentality I came from.
Right.
Like, the thing with Austin is, with this scene, it's a fucking expansion team. There's no tradition here. There's no jerseys hanging in the fucking rafters. So there's no necessarily, like, what are you reaching for? This ain't the Lakers. This ain't the Celtics. They got jerseys galore. They got rings. They got championships. This place doesn't have that. Just a bunch of free agents that came here. And whenever you do a free agent draft, you're not getting the greatest free agents.
But, you know, and I feel like I'm playing devil's advocate here.
That's fine.
But it's just kind of, I'm just kind of like.
I'm not upset with it.
Right. I just think like some people like myself even like, you know, we got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? And it's hard to know, you know, it's hard to do all the research and go and watch every Richard Pryor and every Lenny Bruce before you go and, you know.
Really? You'll sit there and watch fucking 13 seasons of the Game of Thrones, but you can't watch 4 hours of Richard Pryor?
True.
Come on.
True.
You'll sit there and watch fucking NFL every Sunday for fucking 8 hours on end? You don't have time to fucking. I remember when I got into Carlin because my dad's second wife, she saw I was into comedy. She gave me Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, George Carlin albums. I remember I got into George Carlin. I would go to bookstores and look up books of George Carlin. Right? Then I found out the connection to Lenny Bruce. I listened to Lenny Bruce and I was like, I don't get a bunch of this shit. Like, this is all from the 50s. So then I would look up his references to understand, like, oh, that person, that's like today's so-and-so.
Right.
I would look up what was going on in the 50s that made him talk about religion the way he did. What was going on in the 50s that made him talk about sex the way he did.
That's awesome. You're so much more obsessed than most people are.
But, again, this is how I would love to make my living. Not even make a living. This is how I want to leave my legacy.
Right.
Why wouldn't I want to figure out how did these people that came before me, what and how and why did they do what they did? Then I could take that as a blueprint for me and figure it out. You know? That's why it's like, oh, I don't get Carlin. You know? He's sitting there talking about fucking war. Yeah, we love war. Well, do you know what it was like during that Persian Gulf War in 1991? I was there. I remember what that mentality was like. I remember how they sold us that shit. You got to look it up. See what the mentality was, and then you go, holy shit. What that guy was saying, dude, was against the fucking narrative.
Against the grain.
Yeah. People were saying that in private.
Which would have been
They weren't saying it in public, and then this guy comes out with a special and fucking is saying it.
Right. Which would have been your equivalent would have been like the shit you were talking about straight out of COVID.
Right.
Like when I met you.
Right.
Like the vaccine shit and like
Yeah.
all this other shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and then they'll look back, you know, let's say something happens to me. I got this fucking 10-minute piece on COVID or whatever. I would hope that people fucking 50 years from now, 60 years
You
from
could
now.
look at it right
would
now.
Look back at it.
You could look back at it right
Well,
now.
what if they're not born? It's like, you know,
I
we're
see
not
what you're
supposed
saying. I see what you're saying.
Hey,
Yeah.
never forget September 11th. Yeah, what if you weren't born yet?
Right.
There's a bunch of people that can't even remember, let alone never forget it.
Yeah.
So, again, what was going on in those times? Do the extra. I just don't get it. If you really have a passion for this thing, or if you just want to go up and just be a fool and be a clown, have at it.
Right.
That's fine. But, you know.
But they're taking stage time from you is the way that comics kind of look
Well,
at it sometimes, right?
I'm not able to gain the stage time.
Right. And you kind
It's
of.
on me. It's on me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not doing things that impress people enough.
Well, I feel like you've kind of, and they kind of went in on this on your, like, the good Kill Tony spot you had with Rogan on there, which was like.
I got nothing out of that.
Right. Well,
like, stage time wise.
No, I just
Nothing.
mean, it helped me understand.
And it's
you
one of the
more,
greatest moments on Kill Tony out of
Right.
how many hours of that show.
Right.
Hours. My 11 minutes is, on the internet at least, arguably one of the greatest, if not top 3.
But what I feel like people watching and have watched you be on there a few times, like myself, like what I took from that was that you need 10-15 to like get to your point. Or like to get your story flushed out. You need more time than a 3-minute mic, you know what I mean, to work on shit.
All right, so in New York, for example, there were a couple 7-minute mics that I could go to, and it's like, all right, so I got this thing I want to do, right? 7 minutes. I get done with that 7 minutes. I hit on the subway, right? Hopefully there's another 5-minute mic. So I get on the subway, I'm listening to the set, and then I'm sitting there going, okay, that's kind of garbage. I can keep that. Get rid of that. I didn't word that right. We're going to have to figure out how to say that. Nah. Then you go to a 5-minute mic. Now that 7-minute thing I did is hopefully now cut down to 5. And you just start getting to more and more of the fat. Yeah. I had this somewhat huge breakthrough thing on that Rogan episode of Kill Tony. And I don't have audiences or time to really go up and work it out. But then at the same time, I go up and at mics, you know, I don't want to be the king of open mics anymore. I go up at mics, I fucking do extremely well, whether even if there's an audience there, if I'm just fucking working on shit, audiences are laughing more than they did at the other.
You feel good when you're done with it?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know if I'll ever truly. I think I will someday if I get like a concept album in a sense. Like if I have like a Wall or a Dark Side of the Moon type of thing, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness type of comedy blocks. If I had like a Neil Brennan blocks, yeah.
So you just really need,
or even a Relentless like Hicks.
Yeah.
You know, the just the themes of it and just the overall arch of things. You know, it is a presentation.
The podcast seems like a great space for you.
I hope.
And you can do that anywhere.
Yes.
And you're not tied to being in a city that has stage time. You create your own stage time with that.
Yeah, I just don't know what I'm going to do here. Because if I'm going to stay, then I would do a show. Then it's where am I going to do a show? I've had a number of people tell me I need to do a show. This is the perfect time in this scene to create an alt scene. Everyone's just staring at the fucking mothership, staring at the Sunset Strip. Oh, I need to get on those. No, you don't. You need to get in front of fucking people. Doesn't matter the fucking stage. It's like Lenny Bruce's bit called The Palladium. It's 20 minutes about this fucking comic who's sitting there going, I need the big rooms, dude. I need the big rooms. Because to Lenny Bruce, a room is just a room. And you get these people going, I need to play the big rooms. And this guy, finally his agent's like, all right, I got you the Palladium in London. You're getting on a boat and you're going over there. And he fucking goes over there and it's vaudeville at the time. So you're not just getting comedy. There's also singing. There's also, maybe some, people with dogs.
Play acting.
Yeah, and it's a whole 4-hour fucking thing. It's vaudeville. So this guy goes up after this fucking singer and he bombs horribly. And then, he talks with the fucking booker, producer of the show, whatever, and he's like, give me another chance. Then this next night, the girl goes up and she sings this song and dedicates it to all the fucking boys who lost their lives in World War II and all of this shit. And then he has to go up and be funny after. And he bombs horribly. And then while he's bombing, he goes, you know what? Fuck the Irish. And all of a sudden, the crowd goes, you know what? That's the greatest thing you've said all night, buddy. That's right. Fuck the Irish. Fuck the Irish. Yeah, screw the Irish. Now, all of a sudden, the whole place is starting a revolution in a sense. People are getting all fired up from this guy. And then the producer and booker comes. He's like, dude, we're sending you on a boat back to fucking America. You have fucking ate it here.
Yeah.
You have horrible. These people are now revolting. For Christ's sakes, you started a riot, for Christ's sakes. Get the fuck out of here. And it's like if that guy just played a room to the best of his ability, the rooms that he got, he would probably end up being great. But he thought he had to do these big rooms.
So the moral of the story.
Every room is big.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Even if there's 2 people in it.
It doesn't matter if it's the fucking mothership or if it's the Velveeta room.
Right.
It doesn't fucking matter. If there's people in there willing to share their time. Time is the most valuable commodity on the fucking planet. You don't get it back. There are no receipts. You can lose all your money, gain it all back. You can't gain back time. And if people come and say, I want to do this with my time, and then they give you a microphone and they give you time to talk, what the fuck are you gonna talk about?
I understand.
My dick?
I understand now.
You know?
Yeah.
That's why I don't like the locking up of phones. I think that's horse shit.
Why? Sorry, I'm not.
No. It's just
not trying to press you on everything.
No,
I just want to. I just want to hear
it's
it.
It's just one. I kind of want the fucking Grateful Dead, Dave Matthews Band mentality of like how they made it. Grateful Dead allowed people to tape their concerts. Right? Come with all the recording equipment you want. Fucking tape our show. And then people would send out those bootlegs and go, dude, I got to go see the Dead. Yeah, I got their studio album, but I got to go to a concert.
Right.
This sounds fucking amazing. They did a 20-minute version of fucking Touch of Grey. Holy Christ. Right? So how many times, I mean, at the end of my act, a lot of times I say, my name's Tim Warner, Google me. No one can. You want to tape me and put me on a story? Go to town. I could see if, like, hey, I'm practicing my special. We're going to close up the phones. I'm working on a thing where it's going to help make me money, right? That I get. But if you're just doing a fucking regular show, oh, well, you know, they might try to cancel me. Well, then quit saying shit that's going to get you canceled. How about that? I tape everything. So it's like if someone puts up 10 seconds of me, well, here's the whole set so everyone could see.
Yeah.
I ain't apologizing because I ain't saying nothing wrong. But if you're up there saying shit that's wrong, and what is there to worry about? Tape me. I can see, all right, Kill Tony, right? They got a 2-week, 3-week delay with their episodes.
They don't want people.
I get it.
Yeah.
That I get. But a regular fucking Sunset Strip with 20 people in the audience and they got to fucking shut off their phones? Fuck you.
Yeah, that's.
Fuck you.
At a certain point, you're kind of like, all right.
There's a point where comics, I can understand where it's like, okay, audiences were trying to cancel comics, and then all of a sudden it seemed like comics wanted to cancel audiences. This no heckling shit. Now there's shows where, hey, do you want to heckle? Come on down. This show allows you to. Fucking heckle. That's what made comedy comedy. If you're so fucking great, you should be able to handle a fucking heckler. If there's someone who's too drunk, there's someone that disagrees with you, you should be able to. How many fucking videos on YouTube have millions of fucking views because some idiot in a crowd said something and the comic made him look fucking stupid?
Because he's a pro. Or
Yeah.
she's a pro. Yeah.
So like that, this whole shh. Rogan's Place takes a picture of everyone just in case you get fucking heckled. Stop it. Stop it. It's one of the beauties of fucking comedy. It's like having a sports game with no defense. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing?
That's a good point.
And then hosts? No hosts?
What do you mean? Like, no people bringing up
They
other
do the
comics?
baton shit where, all right, I just did my time. Well, next I'm going to bring up this person. Most of these people do not know how to host well. And now you're asking them to fucking get done with their set and then to bring up someone and it's the same shit all. Well, this next person is just utterly hilarious and you're going to love them. Put your hands together for. That's not hosting.
Hosting is like
Hosting
you come
is-
out, you do a jab based on their thing they just said or whatever.
Hosting is you are the guy at the party that is introducing, you're standing next to the keg and you're introducing everybody to all your funny friends. Oh, hey, hold on. Kevin, get over here. Get over. You're going to love Kevin, dude. He's got this fucking story about internet. You'll love it. You were just talking about that. So let's get Kevin over here to fucking, Kevin, why don't you tell him that time he did internet? Oh, sure. Well, yeah, it matters. A host, how many times has something happened in a crowd and if you had a host come in to deregulate, you have someone who has the energy and whatever, like a Casey Rocket, right? Then you have someone like maybe Simply Courtney after who tends to sit down on a fucking stool. You got to reset that energy.
Right.
And then,
I
all
see
right,
what
you
you're
guys
saying.
ready? Oh, man, Casey, he's nuts all over the place. That was fucking exciting, everybody, right? Yeah, you enjoyed that? All right, next guy coming to the stage, like you reset and then bring it up. New York fucking has the host mentality.
See, I just
LA
I
doesn't.
just feel like you have so much to offer. I really hope you don't leave, because I feel like there's there is a lot of young comics here that whether or not they could just pick up the phone.
It's not just young.
We're well young and old. Yeah, I mean, I'm basically just talking about how long they've been doing it, or like people that are new to it that. They might have that same passion or want to get to a point where they.
But if you just want to make it, you don't.
Yeah, you're never
and
gonna.
The thing is, the people that you idolize that made it ended up being great. The TikTok stars and all that shit, it doesn't fucking last. They get a little something, sure, but it doesn't last. There's
Right.
not a longevity to it. And if you want the fucking longevity, if you want after you're gone for people to be looking at your shit. I mean, how many times is there something that happens in you take something like a Maui, or you take COVID, or you take fucking shit presidencies and whatever, and there's some Carlin fucking clip on Twitter or whatever.
That still hits.
It still hits. Still matters.
Yeah.
To me, that's
comedy.
what's important.
Yeah.
But if you're in it for the pussy, you're in it for the fucking drugs, and if you're in it for the money, I feel bad for you, because they ain't going to
you're in
happen
the
for a
wrong
while.
thing, yeah.
But if those are the reasons why you're doing it, it's like, I don't know how to have a conversation with you.
I get why you're so frustrated.
Like,
now.
I don't
After
know
talking to you
how to
for
talk
for
to
longer, I understand why you're so frustrated.
you.
Because
What are we going to talk about?
Your passion's not being matched. It's not being met. Like I'm
not uninspired here.
Yeah.
There is, I could care less if I worked the door at Rogan's Club. I could care less. It doesn't look like fun. And to me, that place seems a little demonic. There's something with the energy there I'm not into. Kill Tony, since last week and the week before, I haven't signed up since I was 6 months clean. I'm not truly inspired to be on that. What else would there be? Secret Show. I would love to be on it, but I'm not picked to be on it. Fine. It's
not going to make or break you.
Right. It doesn't. And then comic-wise, like, one thing I loved about fucking New York, you could go to venues, and it's like, all right, you're a comic. Hey, can I come in and watch? Sure. Right? And go and watch, and it's like Sean Patton, fucking Dave Attell, Dan Soder.
Legends.
Right? You're just sitting there watching these people, and it's just, I got to go. I got to write. Like, if this is the standard that they're doing, I got to go.
Juice.
I got to work.
Yeah.
Here, it's like, what? 24 guys talk about cum. Yeah. Well, I doubt if they're going to get this, but I guess I'll go up and do it. Yeah. And then the crowd that ended up staying, how many times late at the Lucky Duck? And it's like, wow, that was really great. Yeah, it would have been awesome if there was fucking 20 more people here. Yeah. But I get it. How many times you got to hear someone, cum in my dick, and dating, relationships. Like, Jesus Christ, people. There's more to life.
There is kind of, it seems like
just completely uninspired.
There is kind of like this new, it's like a new resurgence of comedy or something, it's like other comics I feel like have talked about this on podcasts, like comedy can't get too cool, like too popular. Otherwise it kind of like gets a little, this is not my words, you know what I mean? This is I've heard this from someone else. Like, when comedy gets too popular or too cool, then it starts to get watered down or something. Like,
but it's always a rebellion. Comedy's supposed to be the rebellion.
It's supposed to be.
You know what the gesture back in the day, right? Jester
right?
were there to roast the kings so the kings wouldn't get big heads. Sometimes they offended the king, and that's where you get that off with their head. But the point of the gesture was to roast the king so the king didn't get cocky. That's what we're here for. And we are the modern day philosophers.
And there's not enough people roasting the king right now.
No. They're all riding the coattails of whatever thing is some hashtag that's in right now. And I would hate to be that person. People talking to you and they're not genuine.
You're not that guy.
Yeah, and I'm not going to go up to someone just because they're a hot thing right now. Now, if we have shit in common, different story. I'd love to hang out and talk and shoot the shit, but I'm just not going to talk to you because you're a hot thing,
because
or you're a manager at a place,
because you think
or
it'll
you
boost
work the door at a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, no. You a decent person?
Yeah.
Or are you still selfish and fucking arrogant, big-headed?
Right.
I don't have time for that. I don't know how to connect with you.
Well, I appreciate you talking to me, dude.
Yeah, indeed. I know this isn't what we planned.
This is what we planned. we don't make plans here, dude, because you never know what's gonna happen. But
yeah, me personally, it's just
you sharing your insight and your story and stuff is fucking awesome.
I am uninspired, and I personally want to do more with comedy.
It sucks because it feels like you're so inspired in like every other category of life right now. Like with being sober and like every day is a blessing, and like, you're it seems like you're feeling a lot of inspiration from within, but then the
sometimes Pac-Man needs a power pellet. You know what I'm saying?
Write that down.
Sometimes Pac-Man needs a power pellet in order to kill all the ghosts.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I don't see any power pellets.
You're running out.
And I'm looking.
And the ghosts are chasing you.
And I'm looking, you know? But it's like even this city is a little bland for me as well, you know? And I've
it ain't New York. I was just in New York. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I've explored it.
Yeah.
You know? But there's things, I don't know what it is. There's something about my energy that I intimidate rather than attract. And I don't get it. I'm 5'6".
I feel like your energy's great.
I'm 120 pounds if I'm lucky, you know? But it's like, dude, I've never had, I can't even go, I'll bring it up. I've never had the drought with women that I've had here. Not one date, not one handheld. I have not even met a person where I'm like, I need to see her.
Sounds like you just need to nut, dude.
Oh, I nut all the time. Why do you think I get to sleep?
Yeah, it's true.
You know, I do no faps here and there for months at a time.
A little retention.
Yeah, I do it for like a month, then I'll release, and then then go a month.
You just need a night. You just need a night with a nice lady, and that's gonna.
But it's hard.
That's gonna bring back all the inspiration. You're gonna be like, what was I even mad about?
It's hard.
The comics here are great.
Because like I'm a lot of women's inspiration.
Yeah.
But where they're just, I love you, hey, I love you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Oh, I love what you said there and how you said that. You know, you're so smart. But then it's like they're leaving with the fucking dick joke guy. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on here? What is going on with this place? It's weird. It's weird. I've never dealt with it before. Never. And I understand I don't have the Matthew McConaughey body that fucking most of the guys here do. I get it. I still look like I smoke crack. I get it. But Jesus Christ, dude, there's more to a person than just this fucking physical shit.
Just the meat suit? There's
more
than just the meat suit.
Yeah. Maybe the haircut, but I don't know what else to do.
I like your haircut.
Yeah.
It's good.
So I don't know what else to do.
You think that you could like pull some Antifa bitches with your haircut?
You would think.
You would think you could.
You would
think you could pull some fucking, Biden voters with your haircut.
Nah.
Nothing.
It's crazy. Nothing. I don't even get eyes. It's nuts. Maybe it's because I'm looking too hard. Maybe, but still.
Have you
fucking kidding me?
thought about switching over to dudes, going over to the dark side?
No.
No.
Doesn't do anything for me.
Dang it.
Doesn't do anything for me.
You'd probably find somebody be interested.
Dude, 2 weeks ago, that's how bad it got. 2 weeks ago, I went on like a Bumble, right? Made a profile, whatever. Dude, nothing but twinks. Hitting me up, being like, yo.
I'll fuck you,
and
dude.
I'm just like, nah, sorry.
Dang it.
Sorry.
Oh, wrong.
Because I just sit there and swipe fucking right on everything. I don't even look. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
So you did swiped on a couple guys?
Apparently.
They're like, oh.
Apparently, I get a match, and I'm like, ooh, let me check this out. Oh, some dude in a wig.
They're like, I like your haircut.
Hey, how are you? Yeah. So no, it's not.
Dude,
it's not my cup of tea.
You'll find a woman one day that's gonna give you a run for your money with all the fucking conspiracy corruption shit. You know what I mean? Like somebody that's like deeper than you that thinks the Earth is flat. You're just be like,
I don't know if I could deal with that.
Honey, you need to chill.
I don't know if I could deal with that. But I will say, I have been starting to wonder if it's like a Frisbee, where it's round and flat. You know what I mean?
Dude, I have no idea.
I did. I was in Huntsville. They got a NASA there. Huntsville is a very interesting city.
Do you trust NASA?
No, I don't trust any of it.
Oh,
I think it's all a narrative based on slogans. It's all advertising. Land of the free, home of the brave. Yeah, that's what we tell you. Well, we take rights away.
Yeah.
You know, and more people are turning into pussies. Yeah, okay. It's just slogans.
Dude, you spit the
Build
realest
back
shit.
better. Yeah, it's all slogans.
I think you just need to fucking keep spitting your Tim Warner game, and then like the fucking
it just makes
the Carlin legacy will come because I love
me.
Dude, everyone that I know loves you.
The internet is like, dude, you remind me of Bruce, Carlin, Hicks, and I just sit there and bust a nut.
Yeah.
I'm just like, my God, those are the names you're using. Yeah.
I guess I'll fucking.
Yeah, I jack off the comments all the time. Even the bad ones.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like I
suck.
I arouse that much energy in you to leave a fucking few sentences about how much you don't like what I do.
Boom.
Ooh, that's hot.
Yeah.
Woo! Oh, that's hot. But like,
You probably can't come
I
anymore
feel-
unless somebody's talking shit.
I wonder if I was outside of Austin. Like, it's like I'm doing punk in a like I'm a rock and roll comic in a rap city. You know, maybe I am a fucking circle in a square peg town. I wonder. I really thought, because like one thing that kills me is I do like the city of Austin. I like living here. It's fucking blue skies almost every fucking day.
Beautiful, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a beautiful mix of nature and city. It's really nice. You've got Houston, Dallas, San Antonio. You have Oklahoma City, El Paso.
People you bump
have
into
things-
on the side of the
Right.
yeah, the coffee shop people.
outside of comedy that I met, fantastic. And I don't think there's another city that I could have gotten clean in. I've been to a lot of cities, but this one, for some reason, it fucking worked.
That's
it
awesome.
worked. And I feel like I owe this city something. And Hicks lived here for a bit, too. You know? And, like, that means something to me.
Before he died and became Alex Jones.
No, I'm pretty sure he's dead. Who was it? One of the Outlaws I opened for in, I see his face right now. I can't think of his name.
It's a cool Alex Jones shirt you got on, dude.
It's going to bother me. Oh,
He can look it up. What is it?
it's one of the I should know that. I see his fucking face. He's still alive in Houston. There was like Jimmy Pineapple. There was, what the fuck's his name?
What was
Andy.
he? Kaufman?
No. It's put in Bill Hicks, Andy. The hell's his last name?
Google.
Oh,
Google
this
Chrome.
is gonna kill me.
Down to the right next to Streamlabs.
Oh, I could do it on my phone.
No,
if
he's got it.
needed.
He's got it. It's fine.
This is killing me.
Oh, here.
I should know his last fucking name. Anyway, I opened for him in Houston, and
I think it's because you got to go to that other window and shut the GORCAST thing off.
and people asked him. Someone made a joke about like Bill Hicks being Alex Jones, whatever, and he said that he saw Bill die.
There you go. Oh, okay. He saw Bill die.
He was
Okay.
like, I saw Bill die.
Okay.
He's dead,
He knows.
and it wasn't a nice face.
Was it like
You know
his
what I
best
mean?
friend guy, his manager guy?
No, well, it's one of the Outlaws in Houston. So it was like
Houston
Sam Kinison,
Houston Outlaws Andy. Type that in.
Sam Kinison, Bill Hicks, Jimmy Pineapple, Andy Hugginson. Andy Huggins, I want to say. This is bad.
It's all right.
All my fucking database of comedy, I can't remember this guy's fucking name. He was on America's Got Talent, too.
Yep,
Andy
you were
Huggins,
right.
yeah.
You did remember.
All right.
You did remember.
But Andy Huggins was like, no, I saw him die.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
cut the shit.
All right.
You know, and
Just
so
saying. It's compelling.
Compelling. I'm pretty
compelling.
sure
It's a fun one. It's one of my
it
favorite
is.
ones.
I'm pretty sure.
Because how fun
Bill's
would that
dead.
be? You know, it'd be pretty fun.
I don't know, dude. I listen to Relentless and Revelations. I've even listened, like, I think that third volume of the Flying Saucer Tour. That
I need to
CD
listen to more. You've inspired me to go
fantastic.
back and listen
Fantastic.
to a bunch of old stuff.
Oh, dude, start with Carlin in '91. You should look at the second specials actually of Carlin is in Around, which is just beautiful to watch a comic in Around and have to perform so there isn't just one side of the audience always looking at your ass, you know?
Yeah.
But like, I think Jammin' in New York, Back in Town. I love Complaints and Grievances. I think that's great. Even Life is Worth Losing. I saw live in Around in Long Island. I watched people walk out
Crazy.
because he was just talking
Carlin?
about death and suicide. And yeah. Life is Worth Losing is really dark, but it's fucking.
See, you have such a unique fucking perspective on comedy in the world.
Well, I was at Stanhope's No Refunds. I've opened for him in Seattle at Laughs Comedy Club on his first Mother's Day with his mom dead, and I heard that story in the kitchen after the show.
I'm not familiar with the story.
Oh, he basically, it's on Beer Hall Push, his special, but it's about his mom's death and how he was there for it.
You need to watch more Stanhope too.
And so I was in the kitchen at Laughs when he basically open mic'd that story. He told us that story in the kitchen because it was the first Mother's Day without his mom. I opened for him there. Yeah, I saw No Refunds live. I was at the second show, which is most of the special. I don't think they put much from the first show in.
You are in love with comedy more than I feel like most comics that I meet. It
saved my life.
More than most comics that I meet.
It saved my life.
Like the way you talk about it.
There's two things that have saved my life, and that is stand-up comedy and I would say this AA program in Austin, Texas. That's why I've been having a very difficult time this last month being like, do I stay or do I go?
Yeah.
Because, again, I do feel like I owe the city something. And there's part of me that thinks there is an opportunity for a grunge of comedy to fucking happen here. But everyone's staring at the fucking...
Shake it up, Tim.
You know, everyone's staring. They won't go behind the curtain. Everyone's looking at the fucking wizard. I don't know.
I get what you're saying though. How you all at the same time you're tired and you feel like it's not your fucking job, but you're you know, a lot of us do this whole thing. It's not my fucking.
Like, there's so many people that don't even watch each other here.
Yeah, and I've noticed that too. And you know, from the music
watch.
world, I'm really used to seeing that, and that's a shame. You know what I mean? Just being in a band, and a lot of people will do the whole, like, you know, they'll be outside the whole time, but then after your set, they'll come up and be like, good set, dude. Like, they didn't even watch you. You know what I mean?
Well, and you know, the hierarchy of communication, words are the lowest. So that's why, like, I don't really take in compliments or fucking negative comments. Like, I kind of take it all with a grain of salt because it's words, thoughts, feelings, experiences, action. So someone says good set, yeah, all right. But if they go, hey, man, I want to book you on my show, there's an action. Yeah. That's a higher form of communication. Yeah. But there's a lot of people, I call them out on it. They're like, dude, you were outside having a cigarette when I was on. What the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly, yeah.
I heard the audience laughing. Shut up.
The best one with bands, dude, the best way to get them is when they're like, sick set, bro, and you're like, oh, really? We didn't play tonight. We didn't play yet. We go on in 2 bands. Yeah. And they're like, oh.
Yeah, I had someone tell me.
Sorry, I was just trying to be nice. It's like, well, take your fucking nice somewhere else. Go somewhere else.
Be authentic.
Yeah, nobody wants your fucking fake nice bullshit.
Yeah, this ain't fucking California. This ain't Hollywood.
Definitely sounds like, in your opinion, there's definitely some, like, growing pains, you know? Because if you think about it, the scene here is still so new. Like, you have to give it a little bit of time, right? I mean, it's not going to become a New York overnight just because Tony Hinchcliffe and Rogan moved here, right? It's like the New York scene. Fucking how many decades did it take for those legends to be built and for it to be cemented as a huge part of comedy in America? You know what I mean? It took a long time, right?
You can make a bad movie with a bad screenplay. You can make a bad movie with a good screenplay, but you can't make a good movie if you don't have a good screenplay.
So you're saying the screenplay
and right
is
now
flawed.
the screenplay, I think, is flawed. And again, too many people are just trying to go for this.
How would you change it?
I want it.
Yeah.
Like how it goes against everything that's AA.
Yeah.
You know?
Because it's you.
I can't change. I can't control. I'm not a director. I can do what I do, and that's it. But it just seems like it seems like it doesn't get the respect. It seems like people have to enjoy me on the down low. That's what it seems like. Very much.
That's weird. That's just not what I get from as an outsider, you know.
And I'm not going to kiss ass, and I'm not going to shake hands and kiss babies. Yeah. You know, it's like, you want me to go up? You want me to do what I do? Cool. But, you know, if I got to sing and dance for you in order to do that, then it's, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I might as well just sit there and do nothing but fucking dick jokes and talk about cum.
if that's the case, then there's definitely something wrong, and then there's definitely something being sold that isn't what it really is.
It's
then.
the era.
Well-
It's that TikTok. It's the social media era.
It seems like
You know,
all
where
the
people will
comics
take
are.
a picture of them in front of a car that's not theirs.
Yeah.
You know, and go, hey man, I'm grinding. How many people put a fucking notebook out with a pen at a coffee shop with nothing in it with the hashtag hustle?
Yeah.
And then you go see their set and they're doing the same shit they were doing fucking 3 years ago.
Yeah.
What hustle? The fuck you talking about?
I just want to show people they're doing stuff. Yeah.
Then do it.
Yeah. 100%.
Show it. Do it.
There's a big
It's
joke.
like going to the gym and taking a picture of
There's a
yourself
big
without
joke.
lifting a weight. What are you doing?
There's a big joke in the metal community, like a big meme in the metal community, which is like big things coming soon. You know, like, because every band is like big things coming soon, and it's like, or they never release a song, or like never,
Right.
you know what I mean? Big things coming soon, and so it's like that's the big joke is like you never post like big things coming soon. Like it's just been trolled out of existence, you know,
I
because
try not to tell people what I'm doing.
well, the
I
other
just
thing
like
too
to
with,
have it show up.
with comedy, what I've noticed, just because I'm starting it because I'm just drawn to it and I've always loved it and I love talking to comics. The more I've
Beautiful art
met,
form.
it's amazing art form,
beautiful.
and there's so much less bullshit. I've said this on the podcast a million times, but there's so much less horse shit associated with getting on stage. That's my favorite part about it, because I'm just the vocalist in the metal band. I just want to go fucking do that, and that's what I was born to do it. I'm fucking amazing at it. I do it in my sleep. I've been doing it for over a decade, all around the country, and like. I just want to go on stage, but you have to write. You got to write the music, which takes who knows how long, and then you got to. Tony, will you give me a paper towel? I spilled some water. You got to write some. You got to write the music. You got to record the music. You got to practice the music in private, rehearse it in private with the band, and then you've got to pack up. You got to book a show. Figure out how to do that. Then that's got to be done a month or two out at least. And so you got to wait and promote the show for 2 months. Then you got to pack up all your shit, drive to the show. Thank you. Drive to the show. And then you have to unload your gear, set it up, sound check, sit around and wait for all the other bands to play. And then you get to go up and get that sweet fix for fucking 15 to 30 minutes, and then you're fucking done until you book another show, until you book another song. And what I love is, you know, coming out of a sweet show at the Mothership, feeling fired up about comedy. Just saw Rogan crush for an hour and a half, and I'm just like, fuck, I gotta get up. I gotta get up after that. That's how I knew I needed to do it, was because I was getting those same urges I was getting when I was going to metal shows when I was younger. Like, I fucking need to figure out how to get up there and do that. And like, I got those same, and I got to go up one night. I was a little drunk from the Rogan show, and I dropped my girl off, went to the Duck, and I fucking got up. And I fucking tried, and I bombed, and it fucking felt so good that I just got to go up and do it. And it was so easy to just get up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just the fact that, like, it just didn't take months and months of preparation and bullshit to just go get up and try some shit and get on stage and get the mic in my hand. And that's why it's like, I don't even remember where I was going with that, but it's like that's one of the things that I love about it so much. Oh yeah, it was saying it was a beautiful art form, and it's like, that's I forgot my fucking
It's
point,
like
but yeah,
Colin Quinn in Comedian, Jerry Seinfeld's documentary Comedian, where he talks about like comedy. It's like Tyson, you know, no robe, no socks, just gloves, black trunks, shoes, and you just go up with that.
yeah.
It's why I stopped being a musician when I was a kid and started doing comedy, because I was like, there would be people that didn't have the work ethic I did in the band.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm done with this. What can I do that's by myself? And then I saw stand-up comedy, and to me, fucking stand-up comedy is rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's fucking rock and roll, man.
And in today's age, it's way more rock and roll than
Yep.
rock and roll,
It's-
because the metal kids and the rock and roll community is so not punk rock anymore. It's a bunch of pussies,
Yep.
and they're just crying about fucking whatever the news or Twitter tells them to be offended about or cry. But they'll jump on the whiny woke side of fucking every argument that they possibly can. It's so. That was the other thing that attracted me to the comedy scene is like, oh, cool, like people come out here and fucking just say what's on their mind and talk shit. And it's like, it's so not punk rock to just go with the narrative on every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I think.
And so in comedy, it's nice to see at least some of them. Some comedians are pushing the envelope on what you're allowed to say. You do it all the time. It's like your fucking brand. You know what I mean? And so it's like, which is one of the reasons that we were gravitated towards your shit, even when you were fucked up and you know, not sober and you know, bombing on Kill Tony or whatever.
I had
it's
it
like
in
that's
New
why,
York, dude.
Yeah.
Even I was a mess in New York, but I still, you know, I was the guy talking about how 9/11 was an inside job, you know, when it wasn't popular to talk about 9/11 being an inside job.
Yeah.
You know, during COVID, I was going around the country telling people how there's some fucking holes in this story.
Yeah. Oh,
you know, and it's, again, we're modern day philosophers.
Yeah.
That's comedians. We're the gestures. We're supposed to fucking make sure the king doesn't get cocky.
You're supposed to shake shit up.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that with all my heart. It is fucking punk. It is appetite for destruction. You know?
Rock is just so not punk rock anymore.
Yeah.
Dude. Heavy music is the biggest pussies that I've ever met are in the heavy music world.
Yeah.
110%. And it's so funny too with the niche that we're in, the deathcore, death metal thing. It's like, here's the thing. You want to like, you know, you're complaining about these, you know, being your frustrations, you're voicing your frustrations. I don't mean to call it complaining, but with the way that the comedians are, you know, it's like, I have my own same frustrations with like, you know, these dudes that are like, you know, trying to cancel everything, being all cringy and woke about fucking every single thing with no nuance, with, you know, just pumping the narrative, whatever they think is going to get them those brownie points.
Trying to make it.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Well, yeah, and whatever's going to get them to that next level, whatever's going to get them the likes and the brownie points for, you know, doing the right thing and saying the right thing on Twitter or whatever. And these dudes all have face tattoos and wear gold chains and have big giant gauged ears and they go on stage and they're like, let's fucking go, bruh. And they act like they're so hard and they get off and they're a fucking simp for whatever the government tells them to do. And it's like, you guys are such pussy fakers. It's literally the entire metal industry, which is why it's like, that's why I fucking do the podcast and try to do comedy, and I hang out with comedians and people who see the world differently. Like, you have a unique perspective on things. Other comics I know have unique perspectives on things. It's like, I don't want to just see what I don't. If I wanted to see the woke narrative bullshit version of the world through someone else's eyes, I would just open up Twitter, but I deleted that shit off my phone. Right. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it's so interesting how this is supposed to be, you know, our metal industry or whatever is supposed to be heavy and it's supposed to be fuck the government and it's supposed to be against everything, but it's like there was all this, like a great example is the vaccine thing. They jumped on the fucking, if you don't get vaccinated, you're a fucking asshole. We're gonna cancel you. But you know what I mean? All this shit. And it's like as soon as shows started coming back in Portland, it was like, show your vax card and wear 3 masks or you can't come into the show. You know what I mean? And it's like, gives a fuck anymore. Yeah. It's just like it, and so it's just like, so it's you're totally right where things are just like people are jumping on bandwagons and. You know, I digress. It's just
follow the hashtag. Dude.
It's definitely just
you know, it's like Hicks said, play from your fucking heart.
Rock and roll, and you know, maybe even some comedy. It's just not very punk rock anymore.
No,
you know,
it needs to be.
So props to people like you that are fucking saying what they feel and pushing the envelope, regardless of whether or not people love it. And the thing is that it's concerning what you're saying about, you know, you not being liked or booked or whatever, because I feel like the whole selling point, you know, of all these people coming here for shit, like for comedy anyway, is like for, you know, that freedom of expression and like the whole sales pitch is like, come to Austin where you can say whatever you want on stage, right?
But then what's said, it's all this bullshit shock stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, you're not really saying anything. You're just, maybe you could be a little bit more racist. You know what I mean?
People just get away with.
You know, I mean, the insecurities that are shown about trans people through the jokes from these people.
Right.
You know, it's just like, you really want to fuck a trans person. Just say it. Just say it. Why you stop it? Stop it.
Because this is like the only place where you can get away with making jokes about it or
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
It's okay, make a joke, sure.
But make it funny or don't say it at all,
but
right?
You could tell that there's an insecurity that's coming out from it.
Yeah.
It's shock stuff. It's not really, here is something I'm saying that's against the narrative that is controversial. This is something that's controversial because it goes against what we're saying. When you're questioning why the fuck we're sending all this money to Ukraine and we're doing absolutely nothing for Maui, mostly because they want to make a fucking smart city out of the place, you know, and that's controversial, you know, but retard and fucking faggot and Asians can't drive, yachty, that's not whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, that's just shock value stuff.
Whoop-de-doo. It's ignorance.
Which is almost funny because the like censorship of those words and the don't say that, like that whole movement, right?
Yeah.
That kind of is giving those cheap topics more weight and more like you get more laughs off of saying retarded or something because it's a no-no word now in the public
and it's
eye.
A 2-year-old mentality.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But but then those get more laughs out here because this is like, because you're saying words you shouldn't be saying, and it totally is shock value.
Yeah.
It's like, it's shit that back in the day, like people complained about with people like Daniel Tosh and like, you know, oh, he's just shock value humor or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
I remember my mom would always say that. My mom like hates that stuff. You know.
Yeah.
But she's like, oh, he's just doing shock value comedy. But it totally is like a thing because the internet has created so many no-no words. It's made it like a cop-out, an easy cop-out for a comic to just go up and say like, you know, some shit that they know is like going to be offensive, and they get like a cheap laugh or a ooh. Yeah.
I'd rather have an idea be offensive than just a word.
Right.
You know.
Well, that's the real pirate. That's the real pirate way to do it, right? That's the
real
real rebel version.
That was Bruce, Carlin, Pryor, and Hicks. You know, I mean Hicks stuff on the war, on smoking, on pornography, even Lenny Bruce's stuff. It's just Carlin's. Like it was controversial, and there's 7 dirty words that you can't say. He made it a smart, intellectual thing instead of just, you know, this 2-year-old mentality, man. We're just, you know, it's rough, man. It's rough. It's rough to make connections and to have real conversations, you know. And comics are a lot like addicts, where they are selfish, self-centered, self-seeking. Like how many times, you know, do I say, how are you? And they tell me what shows they're on or what they're doing. It's like, that's not what I asked. I asked, how are you?
Yeah.
And how many comics don't even, they get done telling their story and they walk away. And we go, well, how are you doing today?
Yeah.
It's all about them. And it's crazy.
That's
crazy
big. That's big with music too, man.
I don't get it.
The music people are just like that. It's even worse.
I can't tell you how many dudes I go up to and go, hey, tell me something good about your life. Well, I'm on this show. No. Tell me something good.
Yeah. How was your day?
Yeah. I'd really genuinely want to know.
And they're shocked you asked. They're shocked that you don't give a shit about the shows.
Yeah.
And the
like,
accolades.
How are you?
Yeah.
You know? And it's, I don't know.
Well,
it's just.
Got to give some credit, though. There's definitely a lot of good people out here.
There are some good people, yes. Yeah. But the you know, the overall, like, yeah, there's a couple good teams, but the league is kind of fucking hurting. You know? But again, that's just my opinion. You know, what the fuck do I know? But when I came up in New York, I don't know, we all nerded out over comedy, man. We all nerded out. And we knew specials. We knew half hours. We knew even little sets. We knew Tonight shows, Letterman's, like even those little 5-minute things. We knew what people were doing, and we could see the joy and sarcasm and reverses and double entendres and like just all juxtapositions and everything that fucking makes a joke a joke. And I don't know. It's just, that's what I came up in. You know, we watched one another. I can't tell you how many times there were people where we'd go to places and it's like, you know, last time you did that, you said it like this, and then maybe you should, this time you said it like this, didn't get that big of a
Those
laugh.
conversations aren't happening out here as much?
I don't see them, you know, but then again, not a lot of people are watching one another.
Right.
Even when comics are there, they're not really watching.
Maybe it's because I'm from the metal community or
Yeah.
music community, and that's kind of like if you don't watch other people's shit, like you're fucking, like you're not a real one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know, in comedy, I haven't been in this game long enough, and I don't know if that's still the the same way for them, but for comics. But it just I always watch, you know, other people's shit, like before and after, you know. And a lot of the greats that I've heard, like I think Louis was one of the ones that was like, put your notes away before you go up and like watch the comics.
Like I get trying to get up a bunch of times in a night, but it's like how many times you're in the room and don't even pay attention to one another. You know,
and how are you supposed to really understand the energy if you're not keeping up with the evening of what's going on?
I've always had buddies where it's like we'd watch each other, you know, or there'd be like 3 or 4 of us and we go to the next place. And on the way going to the next place, we talked and dissect each other's sets and then went to the next place and then took advice or didn't or changed this, whatever, and then dissect, go to the next place, dissect, go to the next place. It was just because it was all about being great. Because if you get great, then you get a Live at Gotham at the time, you know, or you get a Letterman, you get Tonight Show, you get Netflix, you get YouTube by being great. When it's just like you're undeniable. It just, all of us wanted to be undeniable.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm undeniable. I still
takes a long time to get there, right?
Yeah. And I don't get up enough in front of audiences to really fucking test and work. But I'm always writing. Most of the time I go up 90% new stuff. Things I haven't said. A lot of stuff since the Rogan thing has just been straight off the dome and what I'm feeling in my heart, you know? And then I record everything. And then if there's some things where I'm like, I really like that thing I brought up. How can I
make
this
a joke
again?
Yeah.
You know? And then how can I tighten it? What are the word plays that I can put up? What are the act outs that I could fit in? Because you're supposed to show a joke, you're supposed to tell the joke, then show the joke. And if you watch, most comics do that. They'll tell the joke, then there's an act out that shows the joke. And you start putting all that formula in. And it's just, it never stops. That's why it's like I don't understand fucking doing mediocre and then hanging out.
Yeah.
And having beers. And
if you do mediocre, you should feel bad and go right.
Yeah.
Right? That's how I feel when I do
Maybe
bad.
not feel bad, but at least grind.
Right. Well, you feel that good of like I paid my dues. Right? Like I got up and I tried today and that feels good.
Yeah.
But it didn't go well, so that feels bad. So now I'm going to go fucking write some shit.
Yeah, cuz like have you gone to Shakespeare's?
I haven't been there yet.
Okay.
Should I go to that one?
They have the minute mic during Kill Tony.
Oh, okay. So you work on your minute while you're waiting, basically.
I wonder if people are.
Yeah, because they're
Because I know, like, I remember in New York there used to be a bunch of like 5 minutes was like the standard, and then all of a sudden there was like a huge influx of comics, like when that alt scene stuff kind of popped up. There was a huge influx of comics. So then they started shortening, but there was one mic in particular that did 2 minutes. And the reason why they did 2 minutes is because most auditions, whether it was like NBC Diversity or even if it was a comedy club, you would get like 2 minutes. So you would go and you work on your 2 minutes. And I sit at Shakespeare's a lot during that Kill Tony when everyone's doing their minutes in Shakespeare's. And I'm just like, what would this be like in New York? Like, it would be people trying to bring their best minutes.
Yeah.
And I feel like, last week I was sitting there like, if this is people practicing, no wonder everyone's coming in with a fucking little gel blaster and a little book. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. How are you opening? What is, a minute? standard is 6 laughs in that minute. How do you achieve that? And if you got the structure and all of that and you don't get the laughs, I can respect that. I get that.
Because you're working on it.
Right. But if there's no structure and then you're wondering why there's no laughs, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, dude.
It
I have
also
no fucking
seems
clue.
like the weird thing about the kill, there's two things. There's one thing I wanted to bring up earlier, which was that it seems like with the TikTok era now and the reels and shit on Instagram, it seems like everybody just is doing everything for the clip.
Yeah.
Like even comics and stuff. So like I'm not a comic. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to do stand up. And I'm not a comedian, and so this is not a comedy podcast. This is my podcast about me and whatever I like and whoever I think is interesting. I'm going to talk to them. I had a sobriety coach in here before you. I'm talking to you about all kinds of shit. I have restaurant owners on the podcast. People ask me, "What's your podcast about?" And I go, "It's whatever I want." And they go, "That's stupid." You know, like you can't be successful without a fucking theme. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Yep. There's no rules to this shit. Yep. But I've even had some comics on the podcast. And so that being said, there's no pressure for this to be funny ever.
Oh, this hasn't been funny at all.
If you're, I know, but if you're watching, you know, my podcast, it could be really funny. There's some really funny moments, but it also has no. I don't feel pressure for it to be funny and for there to be funny clips from it. You know, maybe interesting clips, whatever. I'm not worried about the clip. Right. When I go do stand up, because I don't want the world to know that I'm doing it. I'm doing it for me because I enjoy it. The only people that know that I'm doing it are a couple of my close friends and the small amount of people that are watching the podcast, because there's not a lot. It's a small community of people right now. Yeah. It's still growing. And so a lot of people don't know. I don't post videos of me bombing, and I don't post videos of me even on nights I think I did good. It's like that's not for the world to see yet. I'm not there yet with a place where I want to put a clip out. And I feel like a lot of people are like, I'm going to start doing open mics, right? And then they're like, oh, I did an open mic. I'm going to post a clip about it. And it's like immediately they're posting the clip.
But
like they're not doing like
likes are the new dopamine.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, shit, so it's like if I can get that attention, that's the dopamine.
If I can get a couple likes off of this set.
Right. You know,
I don't know. So it seems like everyone. So even like I've had some comics on the podcast, and they're like, "Oh, dude, there was a bunch of funny moments on there. You could clip those." And it's like, dude, like we had a great conversation. Like, what about that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it doesn't always have to be about, you know, the clips or was it funny enough, or it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like I hope my heart is in the right place with it. You know, I just want to do what I want to do and what makes me happy and have, you know, fun with it.
And so what it should be.
And I think there's a lot of people out there that are just like me, that are just getting started, but they're maybe like, I want to be on Kill Tony. I'm going to start posting clips from my open mic. And it's like they're more focused on that. They're more focused on that stuff.
That's great. But don't you want to crush on Kill Tony? Don't you want to walk out there with a secret show? There's some people that said to me, dude, your YouTube. You know, I got a bunch of YouTube subscribers. It was from my Kill Tony clip. And it's like, okay, you've got one. How come you don't have the same results? Like, it isn't just the Kill Tony clip. There's other things.
It's about more than the clip.
There's something about me that gravitated people.
And a certain niche demographic.
Yeah, it isn't about just getting on there. There's fucking over 500,000 subscribers on there. Dude, I would want to do a really tight minute. Yeah. I would love my minute to be tight.
Oh, yeah.
You know? But a lot of times there's some guy in the back as you're standing there trying to get into your head, and he's like, hey, man, don't worry about it. It's just a minute. You'll be great. And it's like, dude, I wasn't worried about it until you fucking said something, dummy. Leave me alone. You know? And he'll come up like in fucking Airplane, where it's just like, hey, buddy, you're going to do great. Don't worry about it.
Jesus Christ.
I wasn't. I've done this before.
That almost sounds malicious.
You know?
That almost sounds like he's trying to fuck with you.
A lot of it sometimes is set up for you to lose, in a sense. You know? Like,
but the other thing
what was it? I made one of the lists for the Rogan mic.
The mothership.
And the fucking dude in the back sitting there, he goes, give yourselves a round of applause for making the list. And it's like, stupid. The list is rigged. You all have a fucking group chat where you talk about who you're gonna put on, and this isn't like getting.
I don't
picked
think
for
it
the
is.
NCAA.
I don't think it is.
Oh, dude.
I think they have a name picker. They pick random names. No, you don't trust that? All right.
Oh,
Fair
that is
enough.
adorable. That is adorable.
I'm trying.
That is adorable.
I
You
feel
think
like they do
that's
the right
random?
thing. I think
You think that's you look at that list every 2 days?
I don't
and
look
you-
at it. I don't look at it enough. I don't know.
Hey, random. They got a group chat where they sit there. Hey, should we put Warner up or not? Nah, in a couple weeks. Not yet. You know, they stop.
Yeah.
There's a group chat about it.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's not random.
Okay.
Like even something like the NCAA tournament where there's 64, 68 teams. Yeah, you're gonna take North Carolina even if they're an 11 seed, even if they didn't have a good season.
rigged, if you think everything's rigged, if you're gonna just gonna say okay,
It's entertainment.
everything's rigged.
It's
That's true.
entertainment, and then also you're gonna put up your buddies. I think this guy's funny. He should go up. If you just had it just random, there's got to be some control. There has to be. Otherwise, you got people paying tickets to watch that. You don't want to put them through fucking 15 comics that a bunch of people might have been doing it for a month because that's what you happen to pick.
Yeah.
You got to have some element of control. I'm not saying every single person on there is fucking is rigged.
They probably look
but
and
there
see
is
if
a
they're
good portion of
right.
it.
There's some
that
kind of
is,
research.
and then there is some random because they got to keep the carrot in front of the wheel. But come on, this is entertainment.
Well,
There is a dude behind the curtain.
Yeah, a boy can dream that there's some integrity there, but
No,
Yeah.
stop! I'll tell you right
right.
now. Stop doing that.
all right.
Stop thinking. No way. It's just like, I remember one time I stood in line for Last Comic Standing, right? And so, if you watch the show, especially that first episode, they'll show we went around the country and all these people stood in line. They'll take a picture of the line. I was there. They tell these people, all right, you get to go, leave. There's no way you're getting up. And then every 10 minutes, there's someone with an agent or a manager who got them a spot that actually go in and audition. And then maybe 20 people from the line actually get to go up and audition. And then everyone else, at the end of the day, it's like, all right, we're done. It's a
So
show.
it's like it's the facade of the line.
It's entertainment.
They're selling the
They
idea.
make the idea of that
You could make
you
it.
could just be a person who stands in line, and if you're funny enough, we're going to pick you. You're going to be on NBC, and who knows? You could end up being the Last Comic Standing. The first season of Last Comic Standing, Barry Katz was one of the producers, and I believe 10 out of the 12 people on that show he was the manager of all of them.
That's fucking egregious.
So now they get on the show. They get some attention from it, whether they place first or fucking 12th. They're still going to be going around the country now doing shows. He can get more money because they have that credit. It's like a pyramid scheme in a sense.
Yeah.
You know? It's all rigged.
I could understand though with the case of like the mothership mic that there's like so many people signing up for it that they want to make
the other ones are rigged too.
they want to make
The host will put up, hey, we got 20 selected spots and then. Well, dude,
Yeah,
he's
there's-
mostly going to put up their buddies.
What's the term? The list is an illusion.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 And it's okay. Like, I'm not mad, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
Don't tell me to fucking clap because I made the list.
That's
No,
kind of
it's rigged.
weird. That's kind of weird.
rigged.
That's kind of weird though.
Then the lights,
Even if it wasn't,
Oh,
even if it's not rigged,
yeah,
it's kind of weird to like
don't do that. To me.
like clap. Peasants clap because you got an opportunity to play at the coveted mothership. Clap or to perform. Clap for yourselves.
Yeah, just stop.
That's kind of weird.
Stop the nonsense.
That's kind of weird.
All right, let's just open up the curtain. Just say what it is. Now do your best.
Right.
A bunch of us fucking vouch for you. Be funny,
Yeah.
okay? A bunch of us at the door
This is your
said,
shot.
We told Adam, this guy's pretty good. You should fucking check him out.
Yeah.
All right, now do your best.
Don't say it's a lottery if it's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining type of thing. You know what I mean? You're pissing on my leg.
Yeah.
It's fine. Rain isn't
it's
this
fine.
warm anyway.
I don't mind it.
Yeah. Come on. Let's just stop the nonsense, you know? But that's cute, though. Good for you. That's adorable.
Hey,
Keep your dream alive, buddy.
Hey, I mean, you know, everything with a grain of salt, right? You know? But
Yeah.
I like to think that there's some integrity in the world, but, you know, there's not. You're right.
No.
The other thing, too, it's like there's so
Every
many
vote counts. Go out there and vote for your president. Stop it.
there's so many people, like, you know, you can see, like, on Kill Tony now, like, the frustration that Tony is even dealing with non-comics signing up and getting pulled and coming up and just doing nothing.
No, the sad thing is they are comics. They just don't work hard.
No, there's some that aren't. Like this last one, there was like some biker dude that was like driving around the country promoting something, and he just went up there and was like, "I'm promoting this and that," and Tony was like, "What the fuck? Get off the stage! You're not a comic. You didn't prepare shit. Like fuck, you're not trying to do this. There's a bunch of people back there trying to do this."
Sometimes when you have sex, a kid comes out with disabilities. You can't get upset with that kid for having a disability if you did the fucking. This is the show you made.
Yeah.
You
I'm just saying it's so big now that like there's so many people signing up that aren't even trying to do comedy at all, and it takes away from, you know, people that do want to get up there. But then again, it's like it's just like
that's everything.
It's just like
in life.
It's just like everything else with creative stuff. Nothing is like when you think something is going to be your ticket. Like we just went on a tour in March of this year with like one of the biggest bands in our little niche subgenre. They plucked us and said, "We want you to go on tour with us."
That's great.
Holy fuck. It's a band that we grew up listening to. We wouldn't be a band without this band taking us out. And they took us out, and it's kind of like when I was a kid, when I was younger, I thought that was all that we needed was just that ticket. Like just one band take us out, and we're going to fucking be on our way. And it's like you get done with that tour and you realize like that was fucking sick. And that was the best opportunity I've gotten yet in music. And I'm very grateful for that. But in the long run, it didn't net me a whole lot of nothing but experience and like personal joy. It was
how much extra things did you do?
What do you mean?
Did you stand at the door with a card afterwards where people get a hold of you, a mailing list?
I mean, we did.
Did you pass
we went
out
to the
shirts for free?
merch table shit, but you know, there was only we didn't do all that. No,
you know, I get done. I do a set at sunset. The crowd seem to like me, right? Even if I want to go, even if it's like, dude, I gotta wake up in the morning, whatever else. I stay in and I sit in the back. I don't sit in the green room because when people want to leave. Sometimes during the show, sometimes after the show. When they want to leave, anyone who comes up to me and goes, "I'm sitting right there," right? Where they got to get their fucking phone opened. And they're like, "Hey, man, really love what you did."
Cool, look me up.
Did you? Will you take a card? That's my QR code. I have over 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel.
There. Yeah.
There's a lot more stuff on there. Oh, yeah, man, you got it. You got it. Sure. If I had shirts, I'd be just giving them away.
Yeah.
Here. Join my mailing list.
Right.
Those little extra things.
Yeah.
You know, opportunities.
We did a lot of that
it's like
stuff
baseball.
in the beginning.
Create an opportunity. So now that opportunity is opening for a band. What are you going to do with that opportunity? What are you going to do with that guy on second? How are you going to get him home? Mm-hmm. It's cool he's on second, but that's not a run. Mm-mm. So create an opportunity, what you do with those opportunities.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying in a nutshell is like you're a lot of these guys probably think, man, if I can just get on Kill Tony, that's it. That's my ticket. And it's like, no, it's not.
If you're great, you get on Kill Tony, that's where people go, holy shit.
That guy's funny.
What's that saying? You get recognized in public for what you've been doing for years in private.
Mm-hmm.
It's give and take. You got to fucking work at this shit. You got to work at it. And it's not just getting up and fucking song and dancing. It's fucking working. It's not taking an Instagram picture of you at a coffee shop with a notebook. It's fucking working. Putting the goddamn phone down. Working.
Yeah.
Work. I don't know. It's just that's what I don't get. And that's where I'm just like, I don't know. Again, I don't know how to talk to people. You know? I don't. People give you advice. It's like, give you advice.
Well, yeah.
I'll tell you how I do it. It doesn't mean that's the way it should be done. I would just tell you how I would do it.
And then how many people you have coming up to you at mics like, hey, dude, I saw you on Kill Tony. And you're like, cool, you probably don't do any of the work that I would appreciate, or like, we probably have nothing in common. Like, don't try to network with me right now. You know what I mean?
I always give them attention.
Yeah.
It's awkward because I'll be playing pinball with fucking headphones on. I'm pretty great at that fucking, what's that show? Walking Dead. They got a pinball machine up at Shakespeare's. So I got a lot of the high scores and shit and whatever. And I have kids.
You have too much time on your hands.
I have kids come up to me and they'll be like, "Hey, dude," and I'll fucking hold the flipper, keep the ball there, take out my thing, because I remember when I would go up to people that I liked or whatever, or I recognized, and then they were
cold
a
shoulder.
dick. Yep.
Yeah.
I
cool
remember
guy in
that.
you.
Yeah. So I would just sit there and go, "Yeah, man, what's up? How
Yeah.
are you? What's your name?"
Yeah, I always try to do the same thing because dudes in bands have been like that before to me, where I was like, dude, you guys are great. I'm a big fan. And they're like, cool, we're fucking too cool for you.
I get people stopping me all the time. I'll be walking Lady Bird, dude. I'll have my headphones in with nothing on because I'll be sitting there talking to my higher power, but I want to make it look like I'm on the phone. And I'll have fucking people come up to me and go, "Hey, dude, saw you on Kill Tony. Yeah, what's your name?" "Oh, dude, my name's Dwayne. Dwayne, here, would you take a card? Subscribe to my YouTube. Get on my mailing list."
Yeah.
I take the time, shake their hand.
I guess I just meant like comics coming up to you, trying to like, or new comics or people that are just moved here that maybe aren't, in it for the right reasons or something, and you can tell, you know what I mean, or you think you can tell just by talking to them. You maybe they come up and they try to talk to you because you were a guy that was on Kill Tony, like they're trying to kind of network and wheel and deal with you. You know what I mean? Maybe I can get something from this guy. Maybe he can get me on a show. Maybe, you know what I mean? But it's like you probably can sniff that out.
Dude, I have some people from New York that are like, "Dude, I'm coming to Austin. Is there anything you can do?" I'm like, "Dude, I can't even do nothing for myself. My calendar's empty. What makes you think I'm going to be able to come here, do something? If they see you, they'll be like, 'Oh, dude, that guy's funny. Who are you?' They'll start talking to you."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just be funny. And then, people will talk to you. There's no secret. It's just be funny and do you, But like I said, a lot of people here, it's LA mentality. This is almost LATX. You know what I mean? And like, it's just that mentality. And, New York and LA, completely different. Like, comics will say, if you want to be great, you go to New York. If you want to make it, you go to LA. And that's why, there's so many jerseys and there's so much tradition in New York.
You think you'll end up back there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was there at the end of June. It was nice to be there. I don't know if I could live there. It's a shell of what it used to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You think it'd be hard to be sober there?
No. I didn't. I don't. I know where that road goes.
Yeah.
And I've got, it's like less than 40 days. Less
You've
than
lived
6 weeks is a year. Why? I'm
yeah.
not going to turn around.
You've lived on that cul-de-sac for long enough.
Yeah. I'm not gonna turn around.
Yeah.
I know where it goes.
Yeah.
And because one of my main thing is, yes, I'm powerless. Yes, my life's unmanageable. But the most important thing to me that I added was the life I wanted was unattainable. And now you're telling me I've dipped a little bit into the life that I want, and I'm going to have a drink or smoke a joint or fucking do a line, pop a pill.
Go back to that
fucking
cul-de-sac.
Eat some mushrooms.
Yeah.
I don't need to. I do an hour of gratitude. I do gratitude and 3 reasons why. I've done it for an hour 3 times since I've been clean, and it's greater than any DMT trip I've ever done. I sit there and go, I'm grateful for the sun. Why? Because, 1, vitamin D for the skin, it's fucking great. 2, chlorophyll, right? Allows us to breathe. 3, when it's out and it's hot, girls wear less. There's 3 reasons why I love the fucking sun, dude. And you do that for an hour. You go through the easy stuff first, and then you got to start thinking. And then all of a sudden, you start the things you don't like and the things you hate, you start finding gratitude for. And then by the time the hour's done, it's just like, how do you not think this is the greatest? This is
a miracle.
This is God's dream for all of us to be doing everything all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This is the greatest. This is the dream. We can do anything we want at any time. There are laws, there are this, that, but we can do anything we want at any time. Anybody can do anything. Any person, any fucking goal you want, anything. You can do it. And especially in this country. Yes, sure, we're losing more and more rights every day, but you're able to do a lot compared to a lot of other places. You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's that's the greatest trip I've ever had. And I probably am due for another fucking hour of gratitude. But that's done more for me than fucking DMT or any of that. Like, I felt the same. Like, when I got done, I remember my first time doing DMT, and I was just like, oh my, everything I've ever thought is, yes, it's true. All of this is just, it's a blessing and a miracle.
It's amazing.
And it's love, and all of us are connected and blah, blah, blah. Dude, when you start getting to that point where you're doing things you hate, and you're being grateful with 3 reasons why,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's a power move.
yeah, and you won't hit it right at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You'll hit it probably at that half-hour mark, you know, and then you're doing 15 to 30 minutes of things you don't like and finding the beauty in it, and 3 reasons why. Forget about it. Forget about it. That'll transform your fucking life.
It's powerful.
I don't need that shit anymore. I did it all. I'm not good at it. I wish I was. I wish I could sit here and fucking roll a blunt, smoke, come in here and blah,
be
blah,
a
blah.
functioning
But I don't need,
alcoholic.
I'm not
or
good
whatever.
at it.
Yeah.
and I'm learning I don't need it.
I don't think most people are good at it, but they
You
just
know?
try to find a way to function.
If I was fucking high right now, dude, this would have been a 10-minute podcast with me saying nothing.
Same.
You know?
Same. I smoke weed when I'm done with stuff.
I would have thought of things and be like, nah, dude, don't say that. That's stupid. That's the chatter I would have heard in my head. And now I'm just fucking blabbering without, I might
Now we're doing good pod,
I might
dude.
leave here and be like, I don't know if you should have said some of those things about the Austin comedy scene. Maybe you should have kept that to yourself. Yeah, oh well.
I think it's great, dude.
It's genuine. It comes from the heart.
Yeah,
I think
it's a good
comes from a good place.
It's good insight, and I'm sure that there'll be hopefully a couple people that I know from open mics that'll like listen to it and be like, he's not wrong. You know what I mean? So, but I think that's probably a great place to end it, man.
I agree.
Because the life is beautiful, and
It is.
you can make anything.
Really is.
You can make anything possible, anything happen that you want to do.
Really is, and it ain't guaranteed. So
Well, I appreciate you coming on and fucking letting me have it, bro.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for giving me
Thank
that.
you
the
for
raw,
giving me the space to
Of
feel
course,
like
dude.
I could do this. To
Of
be
course.
honest with you,
Hey, we even stood up for you.
Yeah.
I'm never doing this for anybody again. My legs are tired.
I love this.
Yeah,
If I was sitting
s-
down, dude, I wouldn't have gotten as energetic and all
Right.
of that.
This is
I
the
would've
first
just-
standing
I would've
podcast.
Just sat back and
Yeah.
just been like, yeah. So what's your question?
Well, I looked you in the eye and you're like, "Can we stand?" And I'm like, "I stand with you, Tim. I stand
You
with
did.
you.
That is
I
true.
will stand with
That
you."
is true.
And
Yeah.
so,
Thanks for the freedom.
We made adjustment. Freedom, baby. That's
It
what
really
it's
is.
about.
Thanks for the freedom of expression. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
man.
it.
That's what it's all about, dude. I'm not trying to
There's
fucking.
not a lot of other people I could have gone off on,
Dude,
like
I'm here.
that. And,
I'm just here to listen.
Let out my passions that people misconstrued as anger.
Yeah.
It's fucking. I love this.
Well,
shit.
and I also,
Comedy saved my fucking life.
I questioned you a little bit, and
Yeah.
I played devil's advocate, and
Which was good. I'm glad you did. Grateful.
We talked about it, and I understand your point of view. You know what I mean? That's what conversation is for, and what these things should be used for, not just to, gas up shit that's already, that's already that people already think is great. We want to sit here and just pump the narrative. You know what I mean? It's off brand for you. But yeah, thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Run the outro, Tony. Let's get this man out of here.